and then I am going to have you take me on television. So if you want to give the hub a heads up, it will be very soon. If we want to play the weather impact alert too, that's going to be helpful. Okay, give me about 15, 20 more seconds. Okay, if you want to get us on air, that would be good.
Live on 5 News and streaming on 5 Plus, this is a Weather Impact Alert.
Good morning, everybody. I'm 5 News Chief Meteorologist Scott Cover, tracking a severe thunderstorm warning. Interestingly enough, this one isn't necessarily just an old-fashioned regular severe thunderstorm warning. This one has what we call a tornado possible tag. We're looking specifically just to the southwest of Siloam Springs. You notice that little notch there? Well, there is some mid-level rotation within that storm. Difference between mid-level and low-level, there's a big difference, but rotation nonetheless. So there's no active tornado warning at the moment. The Weather Service did give us that tornado possible tag, which is just another way of saying, yep, it's severe. There's definitely probably the potential for some hail. There's definitely the potential for some wind. There's also the potential for a tornado at some point. It's almost a precursor to a tornado warning. So that's kind of where we're at, a precursor to a tornado warning. You notice just to the southwest of Siloam Springs, you notice that little appendage right there. There's enough spin in the atmosphere, and what I'll do is I'll show you the winds as well, and you can really kind of see exactly what we're talking about. A little bit of a notch right there, those winds in red blowing away from the Doppler radar, those greens kind of coming in, blowing towards the radar, and where you start to see that little bit of a spin right in that general vicinity is where we have some mid-level rotation. Of course, we know that tornadoes don't happen in the middle levels of the atmosphere. They happen down here where you and I are at the low levels. So we're not seeing that translate to the low levels just yet. But I wanted to go ahead and break into programming this evening and fire up this live stream on 5 Plus, YouTube, and Facebook as well, just to give you an early heads up. It's early in the morning. You probably just got to sleep, some of you anyways. That's what we're looking at right now. It is going to be moving off towards the north and east pretty quickly. This storm has been moving at about 40 or so miles per hour. At that speed, that does take it into portions, more than likely, at least the Hook Echo part, into Benton County. It may clip far northwest Washington. You can see the severe thunderstorm warning polygon does include a portion of Washington as well as Benton. Gentry, Siloam Springs, of course, included, as is Prairie Grove. That's going to be for the wind and the hail most likely. Our tornado potential, should there be one that tries to materialize over the next few moments, would be right in this general area right here. So we're talking really kind of as the crow flies, maybe 2 miles or so just to the west of the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line. We'll zoom in closer now that you got your bearings as to kind of what we're looking at. This is the only storm in the 5 News viewing area that's causing us any issues right now. So Watts is going to be right here. This is Oklahoma Highway 59, and we're right pretty much just on top of Watts at this point. Soon that area of rotation will cross over the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line, pretty much just into Benton County. No tornado warning at the moment. Like, that's the good news, right? I want to stress that. This is just an early heads up that something may be coming together. The parameters for tornadoes are relatively low this evening. We've seen hail, we've seen some damaging straight line winds. That's the primary concern. Well, that's the most likely hazards we would see this evening and over the next couple of days, but that doesn't mean the tornado threat's zero. You've probably heard me say that today, and this is why we do see that kind of tightening up. This is going to be just to the south of 412, right on top of Watts. I want to go back over to those winds and let's get an idea of what's going on. When we look at the velocities, this is how we detect rotation. It's really broad, and I'll tell you, it's actually a little bit more broad than it was when the Weather Service did issue that tornado possible tag. But there is a little bit of spin right here, right along 59. At this rate, it's probably, once we get some new data to come in, it's probably really going to be right on that Arkansas-Oklahoma state line right now. Going back to the actual live radar rain mode, you can kind of see the data there. Our severe thunderstorm warning runs until 1 o'clock this morning. This storm has a history of producing a little bit of hail back off towards the west. You can kind of see that track. Some of that hail may fall just to the south of Siloam Springs there. And then, of course, you're going to be tracking up towards the north and east as well. So that hail track may very well find its way closer to that 49 corridor with time. I think it's moving at about 40 or so miles per hour, so it's not going to be there necessarily immediately, but that track does take it into your neck of the woods. We go back to look at those winds. I'm going to back this up just so you can get an idea of what we were looking at when that tornado possible tag was first issued. You can kind of see it kind of coming together right there. Weather Service saying, hey, that's tightening up. Let's go ahead and kind of upgrade that severe thunderstorm warning, if you will. Let's add that tag to it. And that's why they did what they did. And that's why we broke into your television program this evening. It's not something I want to do ever. And I apologize for doing that. But we do have a situation in which severe weather is imminent. And so I wanted to be here for the folks that are in the path of this storm. And I'll do that with pride here this evening. That tracks into Benton County. Winds up to 60 mile per hour, capable out of the storm. You can see those brighter colors there, those brighter greens. That's outflow or winds blowing towards the radar. So that's certainly some strong winds we very well could be seeing. We can get an idea, radar estimate anyways, about 40 or so miles per hour, 28, so not as high as what we've seen thus far over the last 4 or 5 hours with those storms that moved through earlier, but certainly some strong storms nonetheless. Okay, let's put a track on this. What I'm going to first need to do is determine exactly how quick or not it's moving. And the current track we've got on this is moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So with that information in mind, we can bump over here. And I'm going to put a track from the area of that mid-level rotation. So as you can see, it's a pretty broad storm. So first we're going to start with the mid-level rotation, and that puts it in the Watts community now. Lake Francis here at 1246, Siloam about 1249, XNA, Haifa 106, Tawnytown 113, they're at the ballpark a little bit around 116, Thadenfield, so they're at the airport around 120 in Bentonville, Mercy, Northwest Arkansas at 121, Lowell a little bit after that, Rogers at 125, Little Flock eventually right around 130 this morning. That's the area of rotation. Here's the thing, and maybe you're just now tuning in, and so you didn't catch my spill about what we're looking at. We find a storm that is capable of producing some hail and wind. That's most likely at this point. But the cell does have some mid-level rotation in it. And that mid-level rotation is what has prompted what we call a tornado possible tag. It's not an official tornado warning. It's still just an old thunderstorm warning. But it's the Weather Service's way of kind of giving us some information that, hey, this may try to grow into something else. Be on your guard. So that's why we're here for you this evening. That warning is set to expire around, let's see, it was 1 a.m. this morning. While we're here, I do want to go back and look at some of our cameras. I've got the, let's see, I'm trying to think of the best one, the best vantage point to look into that. Patrick, why don't you queue up the Springdale camera, the Holiday Inn camera, if you don't mind. Let me know when it's ready. In the meantime, we're going to track this here together. You notice this little notch right here. That's the concern. Not only do you have some heavy wind, and you've probably got some heavy rain, and there's probably I know there's a decent amount of lightning and thunder because I'm seeing it not only in our camera network, but of course here on our map as well. But this is where that concern would be. That area of rotation, should it be there, that's where it would be. The rotation is not as strong as it was even 4 to 5 minutes ago. That's a good trend, right? We needed to continue with that. But this is what we're looking at. Even in that latest scan that just now came in, yeah, sure, there's a little bit of a signature there, but not near as strong as it once was. Promising sign. Let's hope that holds for us. Let me loop this over the last, let's see, 14, 15 minutes or so. Get an idea of kind of the direction this overall, the storm is moving. It's a 15-minute loop. Let's give it about 45. So it is moving off towards the east-northeast. This current track, I think, probably takes the bulk of that storm between Fayetteville and Bentonville, anywhere along I-49 between Fayetteville and Bentonville. This storm is moving your direction. The box here is the actual severe thunderstorm warning. While the organization isn't as pronounced as it once was, that doesn't mean there's not some hail and some winds coming out of it. I think that's still likely the case. Patrick, we have Springdale. The Holiday Inn camera in Springdale. That would be a good one to look into. Actually, yeah, the Holiday Inn one would be good. Okay, no worries at all. Okay, we can go back to live radar. Just to the south of Siloam, you've got that little bit of a notch there. That's where our area of concern is likely going to be. As it tracks closer and closer, I suspect an additional warning is going to be issued for a good chunk of Fayetteville through, let's say, Johnson, Springdale, likely into Lowell, Rogers, Bentonville, perhaps as far east as eastern Benton County over towards War Eagle. That time will tell what the Weather Service is going to do. This warning itself does include portions of Delaware and Adair County, but I'll tell you the bulk of the storm, the most severe part of the storm, is now crossing the Oklahoma-Arkansas state line. Most of it is actually now in Benton and Washington counties. Where we see that little hook right there is where we want to keep watching. I'm going to go back to our velocity, which is the way we determine if there's rotation or not. And sure, there could be a little bit of a signature there, but it's so broad. And as you probably know from tracking storms with us throughout the years, those colors need to be more tightly spun up to actually produce rotation. And I'm not really seeing that quite yet here specifically. So that's some good news for the time being. Let's make sure it doesn't try to tighten back up like it was a little bit earlier ago. Current time here is 12:42. We're tracking a severe thunderstorm. It's capable of 3 things. Number one, I do believe we've probably got a little bit of hail mixing in. We've probably got some damaging winds up to about 60 or so miles per hour. There is the potential of a tornado. That's why they've added this tornado possible tag for this specific warning. It's not an actual tornado warning. It's kind of like a level below that. Something we want to take with a great deal of seriousness, but we're not to that level of a tornado warning just yet. This storm is certainly undergoing some restructuring, I would say. It's not near as pronounced as it was, which is some really good news for us, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to weaken entirely. Let's go ahead and I can do this one. I'm going to take you into some of our cameras here. First, we're going to look in Rogers, and we've got this camera pointed from Rogers here. It's actually pointed off towards the north and east, and so not going to give us a good vantage into that storm, but our Bentonville camera here is certainly going to give us a pretty good indicator of the health of that storm. And as I step off the screen there, you can see there's frequent lightning and thunder, and that is expected to continue to be the case as this storm moves through Benton and Washington County. Wow, really, truly an electric thunderstorm. This is the only severe storm we've got in our neck of the woods as of right now. I do expect additional rounds later this evening, this morning, this afternoon, this evening. I don't even know what time it is at this point. It's going to be a busy weekend, busy holiday weekend. Unfortunately, weather's not going to cooperate with a lot of our outdoor plans. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for a good chunk of the area. I'll show you that watch. There's a flood watch, there's a severe thunderstorm watch, and as the data here It's not going to populate. Maybe it's just thinking about it. There it is. You've got a pink color here. This is going to be our severe thunderstorm watch. Here's our one warning that we've got at the moment. It includes Benton, parts of northwest Washington, southeast Delaware, northeast Adair County. The green's going to be our flood watch. That runs in through Sunday evening, right? And there's a tornado watch way off to our southwest. Our tornado potential is not zero, but it's low. And so that's why the Weather Service opted for a severe thunderstorm watch as opposed to a tornado watch. Although key takeaway here is we've seen this one specific cell try to produce a little bit of rotation. It was always mid-level rotation, which is well above the actual surface, but rotation nonetheless. And that's kind of why we broke into your programming here. I'm sorry to do it. I promise you I take no pleasure in doing it. My inbox is never more full of angry messages than these moments. It is what it is. A little bit of rotation here south of Springdale, likely moving right along 412. That would take portions of that into the Johnson, Springdale community. I think maybe just off towards the north. I think this is actually maybe moving a little bit further north than east, but certainly between Bentonville and Fayetteville, you're going to see the brunt of a pretty strong thunderstorm, very well capable of producing some high winds and hail minimally. And that's been a common thing we've seen over the last several hours with these storms that have moved through Benton County. You see that rotation signature right there. It's broad, it's not strong, but it's a signature nonetheless. What we're going to do now, I'm going to zoom in and we're going to get a really good idea of exactly where this area of rotation would be. So here's the Weddington community, north of Cincinnati, south of 412. This darker tan line here, that's going to be Highway 412. I think that area of rotation is going to be pretty much right around the Weddington community right now. That's going to be Rennick Road there between Cincinnati and Weddington. That's where you probably have some broad, very broad rotation passing through the area. It's in the mid-levels. It's not currently at the surface. We hope that continues. We're going to stay here until we know that it does. Inevitably, that would take it towards the northeast. You can see on the right side of your screen, just above my computer monitor there, that would take it close to the Arvest ballpark there in Springdale. So that's the general track that we would be looking at with this specific storm. When we look at the rain mode, you'll find the hook or the notch kind of located in that same exact area. I'll take that data off. I know it can sometimes get hard to see with that. Here's exactly where you would find that area of rotation. So now it's passed just to the north of Rennick Road, kind of running right along that Benton, Washington County line. Here's 412. I think we're going to be running parallel with 412, at least for the next little bit. And it inevitably moves into Elm Springs at some point as well. This storm moving at about 40 or so miles per hour. So what I'm going to do is put a track for just the area of rotation where that would be. So this is going to be some estimated times of arrival for just the area of rotation. So the winds and the rain and the potential for hail, that very well picks up a little bit earlier, maybe even a little bit later, kind of depending on where you're at. Tiny Town at 107, Arvest Ballpark there at 110, Johnson at 112, Springdale at 115, downtown Springdale at 116, Lowell at 120, 118 rather, Cross Hollow at 120, and then Beaver Shores at 129. That's assuming this thing stays in this current state. It assumes that it's moving in the same speed, in the same direction, the rest of its life cycle. That could change, right? We know that can, and we know these storms do change and evolve and sometimes dissipate. And that's what we hope for right now. Not seeing much dissipation with this cell. Rotation isn't as intense as it was 10 minutes ago. Good news. Let's hope it trends. Not necessarily always the case. It is kind of riding a bit of a boundary, which is a little bit concerning to us, an area of rotation. Nonetheless, if we want to look at the hail tracker, let's see what the hail is doing in this storm as well. This is getting ready to move across a large majority of the Northwest Arkansas metro, and it is a pretty large storm. You probably hear it. So overall, I'll tell you the hail is honestly not that concerning. Well, I say that it's not as impressive or as large as it has been with some of the other storms we've seen earlier this evening. So we look at some of these lighter blues. That tells us, yeah, we've probably got quarter-size hail or so. Quarter-size hail. That's severe. That's 1 inch in diameter, no question about it, but that's not the ping pong that we saw earlier this evening, a few hours ago. That's some good news. When we go back to our velocity tracker, let's see what those winds are doing. That's more of a messy signature, not seeing as much more of a defined area of rotation as we once were, but perhaps certainly an area of rotation nonetheless. That's looking at the Fort Smith radar. What I want to do is I'm just going to move my map just a little bit, just so I can examine this from a little bit different of a radar. So this is going to be out of the Tulsa. Out of the Tulsa radar, we're looking a little bit higher up, okay? And that does exhibit a little bit stronger area of rotation. So yet again, we're finding some mid-level rotation in the middle levels of the atmosphere, but that's not necessarily translating to the surface where you and I are, at least not as of right now. Let's pay close attention to that. We're still below a tornado warning criteria. That's why you don't hear the sirens. That's why you've not gotten an alert on your phone. This is a severe thunderstorm warning with a little extra piece of information. That's really all it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up some of our cameras here. Okay, we'll come back to that one here in just a second. Let me pull up this one and see what we can see. So this is going to be actually in Springdale right now. This is our Holiday Inn camera, and you can see, wow, goodness, there's a decent amount of lightning and thunder out there. This is going to be I-49 right there, just for some context as to what we're looking at. That one's looking a little bit more off towards the north, so what we will do, our Fayetteville camera here, that's looking towards the north as well. From downtown Fayetteville, you can see a good healthy amount of lightning and some thunder there. Here's Bentonville looking towards the south into that storm. You can see a good amount of lightning there. So it's a very electric storm. I can hear it at the studio, and so I know you're probably hearing it as well. If I can hear it in this soundproof room, there's no doubt you can hear it at home. It's a severe thunderstorm warning, but you notice where that little hook is. It's really easy to pinpoint. It's one of the first things you see. You glance at radar, hey, it doesn't take a degree to know that that's a little bit of a hook echo right there. You look at the rotation, it's there, it's in the mid-levels, but it's not tight enough, nor is it at the ground level or at the surface level right now to warrant an actual tornado warning. It's right just to the south of 412, so we're coming out of the Weddington community. We're soon going to kind of ride that Benton-Washington County line. New data just coming in there. It's a little bit more fanned out, not as pronounced as it once was, which is some good news for us. What we're going to do here is let's loop this for the last 30 minutes just to get an idea of kind of the track this thing's taking. You look at it over the last 30 minutes and yeah, it's moving, not necessarily super fast, but it's moving off towards the east-northeast. I think Springdale, in between Springdale and Rogers, more than likely going to get the brunt of where that broad mid-level rotation is. But you'll notice all those reds right there, well, that's definitively going to be an area of some heavy rain. You're probably mixing in a little bit of hail as well. And some high winds up to about 60 or so miles per hour. That's why the warning has been issued. Rotation was just kind of one of those secondary things of, hey, you might want to watch that as well. Siloam Springs, things have been busy for you folks there this evening. Seen some damage reports, some large hail, some high winds, but that seemingly is going to be passing to your east as of right now. You got a little bit longer to go before you're going to get a bit of a break. Now there's obviously a bunch more junk off towards the west that is going to be tracking into the area that could be strong to severe at some point as well. But that right now, what you're looking at in Siloam and anywhere between Siloam and let's say Taneytown along 412, some high winds, some heavy rain, a little bit of hail. We'll watch this area here. It's not near as defined as it was, but if you look closely, you can kind of see that little bit of a appendage right there. That's what we would technically call a hook echo. You look at the winds and it's a little bit less convincing than it was, but certainly some rotation there. Nonetheless, this is going to be looking out of, I'm not sure which radar this is going to be. When it scans, I'll be able to pinpoint exactly which one. My guess this is Tulsa. We'll wait for that beam to come back around. There it is. Yep, it's coming out of the Tulsa area. So you're looking in the mid-levels. Right, here's 412 right here. So we're going to be just south of 412. East side of Springdale. If there is anything, that's exactly where it would be. It's getting closer and closer to our cameras. We have a whole lot of cameras up and down I-49, so at some point there's a chance we'll be able to see something. It's dark, so you kind of have to rely on the lightning, and you just have to assume it's not rain wrapped, and you have to assume the camera's in the exact perfect spot. It doesn't always happen like that, but I think we'll probably have a good view of it from at least one of those cameras. Patrick, were you able to log into the Springdale camera? If you can, yeah, if you can pan it to the, yeah, perfect. Let's pan that one to the, it'll be your left, yeah. Let me point it back off towards the west. Right now, the warning continues through 1 o'clock. It's 12:54 right now, so technically it's got about 6 minutes. I suspect with what we're seeing, the Weather Service is probably going to issue a new warning at any moment, just given it's not weakened enough to fall below severe limits. That new warning would include a good chunk of Washington and Benton County. I'll let them do their job, but what I'm looking at is an extension that would include at least Rogers, Springdale portions, maybe portions of Fayetteville. It is looking like it's trying to take more of an east-northeasterly track. There's your little notch right there, the little hook echo. The rotation, it's there. It's not all that impressive. It's there. Let's watch it closely. We're getting closer and closer to the edge of that warning polygon. That's when the Weather Service is going to have to decide, hey, do we give a new warning for the folks downstream from that, or we just let it go? Let's take a look at the winds real quick, see if anything's changed for us there. There's definitely some rotation. Hail tracker shows a little bit of hail. We're probably looking at, let's see here. I'm going to pause it. So that says about 1 inch, so about quarter-size hail, which is what would constitute a severe thunderstorm warning. So not necessarily a surprise that that's what we're looking at. That's what the radar's estimating. That's what the warning was issued for. Haven't seen a lot of change with regard to that necessarily. And you can kind of see some purples right there where the hail detector was kind of pinpointing some of that activity. This is continuing to push closer and closer to the Springdale area. This is going to be Rogers right here. I'm kind of looking at some of our cameras. We've got the Holiday Inn camera in Springdale. It's right here. It may have a really good view. Patrick, if we want to take that full at any time, I think that would be great. Patrick's our director this evening. He's doing an incredible job. Always does. My favorite one to work with. Okay. So just for some context, here's what we're looking at. I'm fairly certain, yep, this is our Sam's Club. This is the Sam's Club in Springdale, right along I-49. So we're looking towards the west. This is 412. So we're looking directly into the heart of that storm. And if there is anything to see, if there's a wall cloud, if there's a lowering, if there's anything like that, this is where we would see it. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's keep tracking this. It's shaking around. Those winds are kind of high for a reason. So that's the concern, is not only the winds, but a little bit of hail. And there is some mid-level rotation with this cell. We're looking directly into it. If there's anything happening, not only are we going to be able to see it on Doppler radar, this camera is going to be perfect to be able to track it. Patrick, if you would roll on this, please, for me. Thank you. Look at all that lightning, near constant, very strong thunderstorm. Tells us it's got a very healthy updraft. I anticipate an additional warning at any point. The question is who's going to be included in it. Wow, my goodness, do you see all that? That is a very electric thunderstorm. Let's go back to live radar. Max 1, please. Thank you. Broad rotation here. It's not enough to actually constitute a warning. It's not tight enough in of itself that I'm too concerned at the moment. I think this storm is trying to get its act together. It's trying to organize, but we're not there yet, okay? If we're in Springdale and you're watching, if you're listening, you know what? It's one of those things that you might just want to go ahead and take advantage of that extra time that you got. Maybe nothing happens at all. Maybe it stays broad. Maybe it stays in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. We hope that's the case, but it might not be a bad idea to just kind of be thinking, okay, I may have to go to the hallway. Okay, we've got a new warning. This is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning, so it too is still below that severe weather threshold. You can see that warning includes all of Bentonville, Rogers, and Springdale. It does include Johnson, portions of Fayetteville as well. This new warning is going to be, okay, it's picking up on the old one. Let's see, show me the new one. This new warning runs until 1:45 this morning. That new warning does include a good chunk of Benton, north of Fayetteville, all the way up through Springdale and Johnson, northern Washington County, a good chunk of northwest Madison, even portions of Carroll County included in this warning. You can see that that is set to expire. I'll put a time on there, 1:45 this morning. So its time now is exactly 1 a.m. The other warning has been allowed to expire. This one is replacing it, and we have dropped the tornado possible tag. That's really good news for us based off kind of what we're seeing. I totally understand that. That rotation, it's there, but it's kind of such high in the atmosphere that there's not a lot to it. Let's go back to our Holiday Inn camera. This is going to be in Springdale along I-49. We're pointing it towards the west, so we're looking from right here, and we're going to be looking right over in that general direction. Let's see if we see anything. Obviously, there's a lot of lightning. The wind is just blowing that camera around. What I'm looking for is there any lowering in this general region? And I don't see anything necessarily at the moment. Doesn't mean it's not there, but I'm not seeing anything right now. There's a lot of lightning. What you're hoping for is to get some lightning on the backside of that storm that would illuminate any potential lowering that's there. I don't see it, but that's where it would be if there were to be anything that's trying to come down. It's a very healthy thunderstorm. You can tell by the lightning. The overall radar presentation of it is certainly symbolic of that. Then just the overall structure tells us it's a pretty strong supercell. Of most concern is not necessarily the rotation right now, it's the damaging straight line winds and the hail coming out of it. We'll keep an eye on this. I've got it pulled up off air over here and I keep looking at it. We'll bring it back up in a couple of minutes. Let's go back to live radar as we scan the skies here. What we're going to find is that we see a pretty decent hail core. We can go over to Max 1, Patrick. Decent hail core with it, upwards of about 1 inch in diameter at most. You can kind of see it right in this general area. So we're kind of right on long 412, maybe just slightly north of 412. Heavy rain, a lot of heavy rain coming out of that. And you saw all that lightning. Let's see how many lightning strikes there have been over the last 10 minutes alone. There's been quite a bit. 144 over the last 10 minutes alone. I'm also okay. Yeah, let's take a look at the that RDOT camera there. Where was this one again? While Patrick's pulling that up, I'm slicing and dicing this supercell. Basically, just think of it like this. I've taken a knife and I've just cut right down the middle of it, and I just want to see what we've got going on. You can see that updraft there now extends to, here's 30,000 feet, a little more than, let's say about 35,000 feet. That's certainly tall enough, so we're up there. Again, 30,000 feet, that commercial airline flight level. We're up there in which there's certainly going to be a little bit of hail, more than likely falling out of this system. Patrick, let's go ahead and take a look at that RDOT camera that you got pulled up there. And this is going to be I-49 at, what exit is this one? At Watkins, mile marker 70. So that's going to be just between Johnson and Springdale, getting close to Don Tyson Parkway there. That one's looking north, it looks like, yep. Let's go ahead and take another look at Holiday Inn. At some point here, probably pretty soon, Patrick, I'm going to have you take that and click it to the right just a little bit. Don't have to do it right now, but soon we're going to. Yeah, if you're just not tuning in, if you kind of missed my spill on this, this is our camera. This is on the Holiday Inn along I-49 in Springdale. Here's the Sam's Club, and right here is going to be 412 or Sunset Avenue. So we're looking off towards the west, just to orient you to what we're looking at. I keep an eye kind of closer to the ground level. Are we seeing anything that looks like a lowering or looks like an appendage? I don't see that right now. That's the good news. We hope that certainly trends. Let's hope that doesn't change. Let's go back over to live radar. I mean, there still continues to be some mid-level rotation with it. Let's go back to Max 1 there. Perfect. You can kind of see it right here. Not exactly the best rotation signal, but a signal nonetheless. Let's zoom in. Let's get some streets to pop up for you, get an idea of what's going on here at the close local level. So here's 412. I mean, we're looking directly into that cell. Here's our camera. I mean, right here, and it's looking directly into it. And your rotation, if it's going to be there, is getting ready to move right on top of Tawnytown. Soon that moves into the Springdale area, eventually towards Lowell. This is moving towards the east-northeast, so it looks like the rotation itself will miss Fayetteville. I hope that gives you a little bit of comfort for the folks there in Fayetteville or any parents that have some students there at the university. The rotation itself likely coming closer to Tawnytown, Springdale, into the Lowell area. Kind of depends on how far northeast that thing's going to track. Let's go ahead and do this. Right now the storm is up to 50 miles per hour. It's speeding up a little bit. Faster we can be done with this thing. Draw a cone from the area of rotation. That puts it at Tawnytown in about 4 minutes. Arvest Ballpark, which is pretty much where we were just looking at 110. Downtown Springdale there at 114. Lowell 117. Creech 122. Clearpoint 126. War Eagle at about 129. That's from the area of rotation that we see right here. Maybe trying to tighten up a little bit there. It's still not the best signal at all, but it is a signal of at least some mid-level rotation. I think more than likely we've got a little bit of hail coming out of this cell, probably around 1 inch in diameter. You can see the track that hail core's taken. We moved just to the south of Siloam. We came out of Adair County, southwestern Benton County. It's crossed right now into Washington, but you kind of see how that county line, that's the white line right there that separates Benton and Washington. That's going to take it back into Benton County eventually over near Beaver Lake. May take the hail core really right through the Springdale area as well. In fact, here in a minute, I may step out on the back patio and just see if I can see anything. It's not going to be much longer from now. That hook or that inflow, that little notch right there, that's where the rotation is. Right now it's running parallel with 412. We're getting really close to the 412-49 interchange there at Sunset Avenue or there in Springdale, between Tawnytown and Springdale. Let's go back to our live camera. Let's go back to the Holiday Inn camera. We're gonna have a really good up close and personal view of this specific storm. Should there be anything, this is where we would find it. So just for some context, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of the base of the storm right there. I kind of see, watch this area right here. You see that? That's probably where that mid-level rotation is, right in that general area. Let me step back. Watch the lightning light it up. You can kind of see the striations where that mid-level rotation is. Keep in mind, this is kind of higher up in the atmosphere, right? It's not exactly at the low levels yet, but we have a very good view of exactly this storm. So here's what we're looking at. Right over here is a Slim Chickens. There's a Mathis Brothers. There's a JJ's back over in there. That's that shopping center right there. I think there's a Cracker Barrel right there. This is going to be moving just to the north of that, more than likely. Let's stay right here for a little bit longer. Got a little bit of an inflow into that cell. Base of it's going to be right in this general vicinity right here. That's where your rotation is. And you can kind of see that you saw it really well there. It almost looks like a corkscrew, right, in the upper levels of the atmosphere there. Some rotation. I mean, it's there. Let's go back to live radar real quick. We're going to come back to this picture here in a minute. So rotation now, just to get your bearings straight, here's Springdale. I think our rotation is going to be right in this general area. So we're on Elm Springs. We're getting really close to that I-49 crossing. It's going to be crossing I-49 here real soon, moving into the Bethel Heights community, Lowell as well. We've dropped the tornado possible tag, Weather Service has. I'll tell you, based off what I just saw and the fact that what I'm seeing on radar, it's a little uneasy feeling for me. I don't think we're at that warning level yet, but I do think this is one to watch. If you're up with us this morning, you've got a severe thunderstorm warning for a good chunk of Benton and Washington counties. This storm capable of 60-mile-per-hour winds up to quarter-size inch hail. We've seen some of that already. It does have some mid-level rotation. You notice that little hook right there, that little V. That's going to be a good, healthy set of inflow. The updraft you can see as the air gets sucked into that storm, producing that hail core. That's where that purple comes from right there. And that's going to be where we see that 1 inch hail, should that be materializing. Looks like it very well could be. I'm going to go back to our velocity. This is how we measure the rotation. This one is out of the Fort Smith radar site. We're looking a little bit higher up. Here's going to, that's actually some older data for sure. Let me go back to the Tulsa radar. It gives us a little bit better view of it. Yeah, it's going to want to play games with me, isn't it? Those bright pixels there, I'm not quite sure what that is. I think that's the radar having a little bit of an issue trying to understand what's going on. Let's do this. Look at our rotation tracker. It's probably not going to detect a whole lot. But you did see some stronger, when I say stronger, but it's all weak, it's all relatively weak. That rotation track coming up in through Benton and Washington County. Right now it's in Washington where that area of concern would be, pretty much right on top of Springdale. I'm going to do this. This is going to, let's see. No, that looks ugly and psychedelic. Let's go back in, reset all this. If you're watching in the River Valley, look, we're good right now. Got some storms. Strong storm, not so strong, getting ready to move into Sequoia County. That'll be one we're going to have to watch here for you real soon. The only severe one that we're noticing is this one in Washington and Benton. It's pretty much running right on that county line, the area of circulation. Hey, let's go back to the Holiday Inn camera. I think we're probably going to be in the rain at this point, more than likely. Okay, yeah, we are in the rain, so we're definitely not going to be able to see much at all. If there's anything to see here, Rogers is also going to be in the rain. A lot of lightning though, for sure. Jack Links is going to be in the rain. Yep, we're going to be in the rain, so we're not going to be able to see a lot more. We saw that base of that mesocyclone a little bit earlier. Kind of saw the mid-level striations where that rotation was. An RDOT camera. Okay, perfect. Which one is? Oh, this is the same one there at exit 70. This is looking towards the north. Look at the way the wind is just blowing sheets of rain. Kind of a tough morning to be out there on the roadways. Not only do you have the wind blowing you around, reduced visibility from the rain, you've probably got a little bit of hail as well. Definitely not a great morning to be out and about. Look at some of these trees just to be whipping around over here. 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. You notice that lightning, it almost makes it look daytime at times. Yes, radar, please. Here's where our concern is. If there's anything happening, if there's a wall cloud, if there's any rotation, we're right in between Springdale, Bethel Heights, back towards Elm Springs. This is going to be our general vicinity that we would be seeing some concern right in here. Not seeing it right now, but that's where I've got a little bit of a pit in my stomach. Just the signature on radar alone makes me wonder what we're looking at. So we've lost connection to our Holiday Inn camera where that system just went through. Don't know if that was winds. Don't know if that was a lightning hit or not. I do want to let Weather Service know that though. Yep, sounds good. We'll keep it here on live radar. Let me go back to velocity here. I mean, it's really broad rotation, but it's there. It's right on top of Springdale. We're moving right on 71 at this point. Bethel Heights, south of Lowell. Did you see the text message out of Rogers? You've got some hail and you got some winds coming your direction. Rotation is to your south, though, for the folks there in Rogers. Bentonville, same story. Heavy rain, high winds, a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder. It sounds loud. It is loud for good reason, but right now we're looking squarely at the rotation that's between Elm Springs, let's say Bethel Heights, Springdale. It's not moving a lot. It's kind of slowing down a little bit. That's going to be looking out of our Fort Smith radar. Boy, it's there. You can kind of see it. You really can. Let me do this for you folks. I've not put this up on this stream. This is my number. If you see me looking down at my cell phone, I'm not TikToking, I promise. I'm checking your reports, and I'd love to hear from you. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, I think. I hope I checked that box. I can't see the comments. Okay, we have a tornado warning, brand new tornado warning. Let's go back to live radar. Here's can we get, Patrick, can we get Springdale back online? Oh no, it's down, that's down, okay. Keep an eye on those RDOT cameras if you will. Brand new tornado warning until 1:45 this morning, Doppler radar indicated. Here's the thing, we were looking at some power flashes, that's why our camera went down. it's really, there's no way to know whether or not that was a tornado, whether that was lightning or damaging straight line winds, but there's something causing some power outages in the area that we've got some rotation. Doppler radar indicated rotation right in this general vicinity. This is where we've got a concern right now. It is time to go ahead and take those tornado safety precautions. If you live in Benton, Benton County especially, near War Eagle, Bethel Heights, Lowell, Springdale, Elm Springs, that's where our concern is at the moment. Technically speaking, Springdale is included in the tornado warning. I'm going to be able to give you an all clear in Springdale here in just a few minutes. For the time being, let's go ahead and all be taking our tornado safety precautions. I'm going to take another look at live Doppler radar. Let's see where that velocity is. And you can see that rotation has kind of tightened up just a bit. Here's going to be your concern. Here's Bethel Heights, right? Here's Huntsville Avenue. Here's Dixieland Street. Right here is Jean George Boulevard. Here's Elm Springs, just for some context. New data coming in, shifting that towards the northeast. This is going to come close to Lowell. Hey, if you're in Lowell, I need you to go ahead and take those tornado safety precautions. Area of rotation right here, there very well could be a tornado. If there's not one at this moment, there very well could be at any given moment in time in the very, very near future. We very well could see a tornado. Let's see, let me go back to debris tracker. I want to see if there's any debris. Rotation is strong, tornado warning, including a good chunk of Benton and Washington counties. Area of rotation right now, getting closer to Lowell, near Bethel Heights. If that Springdale camera comes back online, Patrick, let me know. All right, folks that might just now be waking up, your NOAA weather radios have alerted you perhaps to a tornado warning. Your cell phones are going off. We do have a tornado warning. Strong rotation at this point is now in parts of South Benton County. We're looking near the Bethel Springs, Bethel Heights area, Elm Springs, Lowell community. Here's your area of concern. It's in this general vicinity. If there's a tornado happening, this is where it's likely going to be. Specifically in Bethel Heights, Silent Grove. That's where we have strong Doppler radar indicated rotation. We saw some power flashes a little bit earlier. Those power flashes indicate to us there very well could be a tornado on the ground at this moment. If there's not, rotation has come up enough that we highly recommend you taking those tornado safety precautions. There very well could be a tornado imminent if it's not on the ground at this moment. Right now, your concern is going to be Lowell, Bethel Heights. So right here is going to be, it's going to be Canal Street, Frisco, Hickory Creek, Creech, Wagon Wheel Road, Bethel Heights. That's your concern. That's where we need to go ahead and take those tornado safety precautions immediately. Right now, velocity shows this. An area of rotation right on Wagon Wheel Road. Here's going to be your concern near Bethel Heights, between Bethel Heights and Lowell. That's where we have strong Doppler radar indicated rotation. This has now been an observed tornado. There's a tornado on the ground. We have confirmation that there has at least been a visual confirmation of this tornado on the ground. This is a serious situation at this point. I know it's the middle of the night, and I know you're thinking, do I really need to get out of bed and get the kids up and the shoes on and in the closet? Yes, now is that time. Confirmed tornado on the ground. This is going to be near Bethel Heights, near Wagon Wheel Road. Here's Lowell, right? This is going to be north of Springdale. Now that area of rotation east of 49. We're pretty much right on top of that 49 corridor there, 49 in Wagon Wheel. Patrick, there's an RDOT camera there at Wagon Wheel. Take a look at that and let me know what you see, if anything at all. This is going to be tracking towards the east-northeast, Stony Point Road. I need you in your safe locations right now. If you live anywhere along 71 between, let's say, Springdale and Lowell, let's go ahead and take those tornado safety precautions. I want to zoom out so I can get folks downstream a little bit of a heads up. You notice right here where these colors start to meet, these reds and greens, that's where our rotation is, and it's tracking towards the north and east. That eventually takes it out near War Eagle. It's going to be a little bit, but that eventually takes it out towards your neck of the woods. That's where your concern is. Right now, I want to circle that for you so you can see exactly where that rotation is. Here's our concern. We have a report that the tornado is on the ground. Radar indicates that rotation is tightened up. I certainly believe that we very well could, if not still, we definitely did probably have a touchdown at some point. It's possible that it's still on the ground. If it is, it's right here. Bethel Heights is exactly where we would expect that tornado to be, probably right up and down Wagon Wheel in that general vicinity. We're going to go in a little bit closer. In fact, we're going to go real close. We're going to get up close and personal with this rotation. There's going to be a lot of lines starting to show up on your screen here. All these little roads here, Apple Blossom Avenue. This is going to be Primrose Road, Puppy Creek Road, Silent Grove Road. Here's Wagon Wheel right here. This is going to be Dixieland Street. This is where our concern is. If you live in anywhere near those streets that I've just called out, there is likely a tornado or was just a tornado on the ground. Nonetheless, rotation continues to indicate the potential of that very well could be still on the ground at this moment. Let's take those tornado safety precautions. Right now, the current time is 1:20. If you're just now waking up, we do have a tornado warning in effect for Benton, parts of Washington County. The area of rotation is now just to the north of the Washington-Benton County line, so we're primarily focused at this moment on Benton County. Puppy Creek Road is exactly where the broad rotation is at this second. Here's 71, this yellow line that runs between Lowell and, let's say, well, just about everywhere. But here's Lowell right here, extending back towards Bethel Heights. This storm's not moving very quick at this point. In fact, I've been calling out Bethel Heights a lot because this thing seemingly has slowed down just a little bit. I'm going to clear off that circle there. Looks like maybe with that latest scan, it's not as impressive or as it was. That rotation still there. There's no doubt there's still some rotation to the south of Lowell, southwest of Hickory Creek, west of Creech. There is a little bit of rotation, but it's really, really weakened from what it was a few moments ago. Looking at several radars offhand, whether it's the Tulsa, Fort Smith, or Springfield, they're all kind of indicating this rotation here. It's there, but it's not as tight, it's not as strong as it once was. If there is something still on the ground, it's going to be right here. You can see just to the northeast of Bethel Heights, Frisco Cemetery Road. That kind of takes you right into that area of concern. It's much more broad than it was. That's the good news for us. Let's hope that trend holds. If you're in your safe place right now, my recommendation and my plea with you is let's go ahead and just stay there for the time being in case this thing tries to tighten back up. This is Irvin McGraw Road. This is South Primrose Road. Here's State Highway 264, Old Wire Road, Oak Street, Apple Blossom Avenue, South Old Wire Road again. Community of Frisco. We're talking about just to the south of Frisco and Lowell. Here's your concern. I know it's kind of messy. It's kind of tough to pick out. What we're looking at here are winds that are blowing towards the radar, winds blowing away from the radar. Where they start to meet up is where we've got some spin, and that seemingly is happening right here to the south side of Lowell, south of town. That's where we need to be in our safe locations right now. Hickory Creek, you're upstream from this. It is going to be moving your direction, as is the case in Frisco. Let's go ahead and take those tornado safety precautions immediately. You are under this tornado warning right now. Patrick, go ahead. Okay, our Holiday Inn camera's back up. Let's do this. Let's take that full. And okay, trying to get our bearings. This is going to be Sunset right here, right? Is this going to be the general area of Sunset? I think so. So we're kind of looking back towards the northeast over in this general direction. That's where we would see something on the back side. We're going to want to wait here for a second to see if we can get any lightning to help us illuminate the lower portions of the sky there. That's where we would potentially see a wall cloud. We saw that broad mesocyclone a little bit earlier right before the tornado warning was issued. Perhaps there is a little bit of a lowering. Is that the backside of that wall cloud perhaps right there? Certainly looks like it. Very well could be. I don't see, if that in fact is the wall cloud, I don't see anything making contact with the ground at this moment, which would correlate with the fact that the rotation is not as strong as it was a few scans ago. Northeast of 45. Okay. Can we go back to live radar real quick? Okay, excellent. Boy, this sure does look like a wall cloud. Can you click it just to the right? Just to the right, just a little bit. Thank you. Patrick, our director in the booth, doing good work for us here this evening and getting us a good camera perspective of this. So just for some context, to get your bearings straight, this is the Holiday Inn camera right on 49. We're pointing it directly towards the east, and that certainly looks like a lowering to me. That cloud base right there, that's the wall cloud. That's the wall cloud that we're seeing. You can see it extends low to the ground. At this moment, I don't see anything making contact, but it's the middle of the night. It's raining, it's wet, we're kind of far away. I'm not going to tell you there's not one there. And if there's not one there, that doesn't mean there might not be one. And that's why the warning's set to continue for the next 20 minutes. Radar indicated, in addition to the potential for 1 inch in diameter hail, probably 60 to 70 mile per hour straight line winds coming out of it. I step back off just to make sure we're still seeing everything. Patrick and Tiffany up in the booth. Keep an eye on this camera if you can off air, and let me know if you see anything start to lower out of the base of that cloud. I'm going to go back to live radar if you can. It's going to be tough to see really anything from that, simply because we're trying to look through some rain, and that's really tough to do. Our warning has been allowed to expire for Washington County. Tornado warning remains in effect for Benton County, portions of Madison, portions of Carroll County. In fact, that warning is set to expire at 1:45. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see exactly who's in the path of this storm. Here's your area of concern right in this general vicinity. This is where rotation is. It's very possible, very likely. We did have a tornado a few moments ago. I don't know if it's there at this moment. I think it's perhaps weakened. The storm itself certainly has. Rotation is not as pronounced as it once was, but that concern will continue tracking into eastern Benton County, may very well clip northwestern Madison County. It does move into extreme southwest Carroll County. Eureka Springs not included in this warning, but if you're in Eureka by chance and you just happen to be awake with us this morning, I need you to stay awake just in case that warning or a new warning is extended to include you. That's certainly a real possibility for us. As radar continues to scan this, we notice that hail core still looking about 1 inch in diameter hail. That latest scan that you just saw pop up, it's not as pronounced as it once was. That's a little bit more messy of a picture. Maybe this cell is weakening slightly. It's not weakened below limits to actually be able to drop the tornado warning itself. That is of concern for us, so let's continue tracking that very closely. I'm going to go back to the rotation detector. Boy, goodness. Okay, we're good. We'll stick with this right here. I'll tell you, the rotation now we're looking at of the Tulsa radar, it's there, but it's not near as pronounced as it once was. Let's hope that continues to hold. I'm going to go back to our debris tracker. I'm going to try to back this up a little bit. And there very well could have been some debris right there, just to the west of Cross Hollow. I know this data product is really messy, and I apologize for that. It's like going to the doctor looking at an x-ray and really not sure what you're looking at. I totally get that it's messy. Right there near Dixieland Drive, there could have been a little bit of a debris signature a few moments ago. We'll get a team out there to examine that. I've not seen any other official reports from emergency managers or local authorities indicating as such. It is the middle of the night. It is dark. Those reports may come in. Oftentimes they are a bit more delayed. Concern, though, now includes War Eagle. It always has, but War Eagle, now is the time to go ahead and be in your safe place. If there is anything causing some issues for us, it's pretty much right on top of us here in War Eagle at this point. Although I'll tell you, rotation is just not near as strong as it once was. Let's see here. Creech, Yep, just to the north of Creech. Here's going to be Highway 12. Here's War Eagle right here. We go about 4 to 5 miles towards the west, and that's where there is very well some still rotation continuing for us. Rotation that is strong enough that our warning continues. Right now it's 1:30. Our warning goes for another 15 minutes. 1:45 is when that warning is set to expire. And so we need to go ahead and take this storm seriously. It looks like it may have very well produced a tornado back near Springdale, Bethel Heights, the Lowell area. That's a real possibility for us. When we start to get reports, if we do, of course, we'll bring those to you. I'd only tell you that to tell you this. It's a storm that hasn't always been just radar indicated. We very well could have a radar, specifically an observed tornado. We did get a report of that. Saw some power flashes. We lost some of our cameras that were in the path of this storm. You start to see power outages like that with storms that were producing the rotation that it was. We kind of saw that lowering as it came across the 412 Sunset Avenue. That makes you start to think there could have very well been something on the ground. That's a real possibility for us. That's why the warning continues here for Benton County into portions of western Carroll, northwestern Madison County. Let's take a broad perspective across northwest Arkansas. If you're just now joining us, your phones have alerted you, you're kind of waking up, maybe somebody called you, you had a good friend, a family member that said, hey, you're under a warning. We are tracking one single cell right now in northwest Arkansas that is severe, and it's got a tornado warning on it for good reason. As we just discussed, very well could have had a tornado. Rotation isn't as strong as it was when that rotation likely did spawn a tornado back near 49, but there is a little bit of it, and it's right here. It's kind of tough to pinpoint, but this is where I'm telling you it's at, just to the west of War Eagle, and it is tracking off towards the northeast. Eureka Springs, you're not in the warning yet, although a portion of Carroll County certainly is. From what I can tell, the way this is tracking at the moment, it looks like that may clip portions of northwest Madison County just by a little bit before it pushes back into portions of Carroll County. So let's keep that in mind. I want to take a look from the Springdale radar, the Fort Smith radar, Hickory Creek, Clear Point, areas along State Highway 12 between, let's say, War Eagle and Beacon Addition is where that rotation is pretty much on top of now, or will be by the time you hear my voice. This is going to be your concern as this tracks off towards the east-northeast. Washington County was trimmed from the warning, so you're no longer in a warning in Washington County. Let's go back to northwest Arkansas as a whole. We'll look at the rain mode. You can see there are some additional thunderstorms getting ready to move into the area. These are not severe at the moment. You got a line of them extending from Delaware back towards Adair County. Those are not severe at the moment either, but they are going to produce a lot of lightning and thunder, and they very well could become severe. And that's why we want to be here tracking them for you as well. I'm hearing from Jose, a reporter, anchor who should be anchoring the morning news here really quick. Got a lot of rain closer to JB Hunt corporate offices, general, obviously nothing hit us. Okay, I'll get back to you soon, Jose, with a game plan on how we want to assess damage. What I'm going to do here, while this warning continues, we are waiting for a little bit more data. It's moving towards the War Eagle community. I care about you, promise we do. Rotation's not as concerning as it once was. So if you're in the War Eagle area, moving towards Rock, Clear Point, Hickory Creek, anywhere along Highway 112, 303, 12, I should say, not 112, just 12, 303. This is where we need to be in our safe place right now. If there's anything causing some issues, this is where it is. I want to see another data scan come in here real soon. While we're waiting on that, I need to go back and look at some of the debris tracking tools we've got. This is able to pinpoint where the debris was. So I'm kind of backing us up in time. This is not current. What the radar is able to do, the radar is able to say there are things in the atmosphere that aren't supposed to be there. And when that happens, it can highlight little pixels like this that perhaps tells us, hey, that very well could be shingles, it could be limbs and twigs and things that are not precipitation, things that shouldn't be in the atmosphere, and that very well could have happened. Okay, as I suspected a second ago, that tornado warning has now been allowed to expire. Our severe thunderstorm warning continues, and that severe thunderstorm warning for Benton, Carroll, Madison, runs until 1:45. So we've got about 10 more minutes to go with that specific warning. The rotation weakened below the limits necessary for a tornado warning. We don't suspect there's a tornado happening right now. That's why the tornado warning has been dropped. That's good news for us. That's really, really good news. It does appear we very well could have had a touchdown earlier near Bethel Heights, Springdale, Lowell, somewhere in that general vicinity. I'm working to get a team scrambled to get out there here and get some reports back into us. Right now, we've not heard from any other entities, law enforcement, emergency management. We'll get some teams, some crews out there to see for ourselves. You do have a strong thunderstorm, and that's why we continue with this warning for at least the next 10 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there's not a new warning issued for portions of Carroll County. Minimally, there's going to be some hailstones coming out of this, probably some winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour. Those are those straight line winds, though. But the rotation has really come down. Let's take a look at the lightning, too. Sometimes that can tell us if that's coming down. Earlier, it was around 130 to 140 strikes every 10 minutes. Now it's down to 68. Kind of anecdotal, but it's a good tool that I like to see how the health of these storms are. What are they doing? When the lightning's coming down that drastically, rotation's weakening, maybe we truly are going to put this cell to bed. These things can recycle, they can pulse back up, and that can happen. But right now, we're not seeing that. Reason the warning here is flashing, the portion of Washington County that was still included has been allowed to expire. This severe thunderstorm warning now extends from Bentonville through Rogers and Lowell off towards the east of 49, including War Eagle, Hickory Creek, Breach. Let's get some more towns. We'll zoom in a little bit closer here. And the reason this warning exists is for the wind and hail potential. Avoca, of course, included in that. Here's State Highway 12, right here between Rogers and War Eagle. Here's 127. Through Avoca, you've got some heavy rain, the lightning and the thunder. You probably still see it and hear it. There could be some hail mixing in here as well, and perhaps a little bit of straight line winds as well. Looking at some damage pictures that have started coming in. Let me do this. Let me put my number back here. This is my number here at the television station. Look, I can't see the comments, but I can see your text messages. If you will, text me your reports, 479-785-5000. That's my number here directly to my cell phone, 479-785-5000. Need your reports. Live radar continues to show this cell. It's not as pronounced as it was. That's the good news. Things are getting kind of messy as we take a look back at what's yet to come to cross the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line. Certainly a certainly a strong thunderstorm from Grove back through Jay. That's going to be moving back through Gentry, Decatur, Gravette, Siloam Springs, an area that you've had 3-4 storms already over the last 6 or 7 hours. That one's going to be moving your direction as well. And it tracks into the heart of Benton County. So Benton County's been the hardest hit this morning, last night as well. Looks like we just took a tornado hit perhaps there as well. That's going to be a bit of a concern for us going into the rest of the evening, although I'll tell you, the tornado parameters have been really low with this system. Obviously, they weren't zero, and that's why we say that. That's why we say they're not zero, but they have been low. Pretty quiet conditions here in the River Valley. Strong thunderstorm, a lot of lightning coming through Sequoyah County. That one's on the uptick. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that one's not put under a severe thunderstorm warning at some point. Just looking at the winds that are coming out of that cell in Sequoyah County, they're up there. That's going to be moving through Sallisaw, over towards Roland, eventually into the Fort Smith area. May pass just to the northeast of Fort Smith, really, but we'll have to watch that to be really closely. Just rain and high wind, Pleasant Grove Road and 71B. Thank you for that report. I appreciate that. Locations are really helpful when I see your reports. Sometimes people forget to include the location, which makes some of the information not as helpful as others. So I appreciate you including that. Tornado warning has been dropped for Benton County. If you missed that a few moments ago, the rotation is just not there anymore. But it is still a strong thunderstorm, and that warning runs until 1:45 this morning. I'm giving some instructions to our crew getting out there to check on that damage. Thank you for bearing with me there. One-man band tonight, other than the great folks up in the booth that are helping us out quite a bit. Let's do this. Hey, Patrick or Tiffany, could you call Danny? Let him know kind of what's happened. Make sure Danny's aware. And we might need to get Danny here at the station if we can. Let me know when we've made contact with him. This storm passing eastern Benton County. The worst of it is now east of 49. We're going to get a bit of a break here, but there's going to be more likely coming into the area. That's not severe at the moment. Very well could be, although there is some question as to how much of the atmosphere is worked over with all these storms. We're just now kind of getting some of this activity to roll into the river valley. This storm specifically near Salisaw, a little bit of a concern, only just because it's kind of out there by itself. Strong storms, not severe. Flute Springs, there's Weber's Falls, north of Stigler. Really going to get really close to Salisaw over the next couple of moments. It's not severe. You got some scattered activity far northern Franklin, southern Madison. Some really spotty showers here in Crawford County. Those are going to be tracking towards the northeast, moving towards Winslow, perhaps Chester over the next few minutes. Those just spotty showers at this moment. Those could grow into something though, and that's why we want to track those pretty closely. Getting some more text here. Watkins Avenue, 1 block from Children's Hospital. And the system was going through earlier. Scott, does the system in Sequoia County make it to Rudy and Alma area? It very well could. It very well could. Most of these have been moving a little bit further towards the north than east, but it's close, right? It's a little too close for comfort. So I think we want to watch it really closely if you're in the Rudy, Alma area. It is going to be kind of moving into your neck of the woods. I'll put a loop on this area wide, and we'll loop this for the last let's just do about the last hour, and that'll give us a pretty good idea of exactly what we're looking at. Yeah, I would say that cell actually makes more of a northeasterly track. So yeah, it's a little too close for comfort, but maybe that misses Alma. The way that's tracking towards the east-northeast, maybe that one misses Alma. Notice the lightning on that one is as impressive as any of the other cells, including the one that was tornado warned, the one that likely did produce a tornado earlier. So that's maybe the cell that we're going to want to turn our attention to and begin watching very closely over the next few minutes. That inevitably would move into Adair County and then western Washington County as well. So there's only the one severe thunderstorm warning at this moment. I know we've got a strong storm moving through Gentry, Decatur, Siloam, West Siloam. It's not severe at the moment. Rain's heavy, winds are probably breezy, but nothing is severe there. This cell is the one that I continuously turn my attention to. It's not severe either, but it's very favorable that it could grow into a severe storm over the next several minutes. That eventually tracks, it's right now in Sequoia County near Salisaw. It's going to move up into Adair County for the most part. Eventually that takes it into Washington County, which hasn't seen a whole lot over the last several hours, which means that atmosphere there may be untapped. Getting a video here that you guys are sending in. Appreciate that from Heritage High School. Here's going to be the one a block away from Children's. Heavy rain. In Bentonville High School, really windy, thunder every minute. Okay. A lot of your reports. I'm going to get to all of them, I promise. There's a couple hundred text messages to get through. I can't do it all at the moment, but I'll definitely get back to you. Okay, thank you. Okay, that warning has since expired. So that's good news for us. It is 1:45. They did not issue a downstream warning for that specific storm. What I'd like to do is I'd like to stay here for a couple more minutes because I suspect there's about to be a warning. I hope I'm wrong, but I suspect this thunderstorm may very well try to develop into a severe storm. And so I don't want to end the stream just to have to come back on. I will do this though. Let's do this. Let's return Channel 5 back to regular programming. We will continue our coverage on 5 Plus, on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on our free mobile app. If there is an additional tornado warning, of course, we'll come right back here and cut into Channel 5. But in the meantime, if you want to track these storms the rest of the night with us, go ahead and find us there on 5 Plus, Facebook, YouTube, all those places. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and go back to regular programming. Should something happen tornadic, we'll be right back here. Hey, all right. Thank you so much for bearing with us as we work through those technical transitions there, getting off of Channel 5. We're going to stay here on Plus. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the radar looping for just a minute. I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to go talk to our field crews and kind of get them going in the right direction. So you're going to see me step away for a couple of minutes. We'll be right back. I'm going to leave radar up for you, scanning the skies. If a warning's issued, hey, I'll be right back. I'll see it. I'm not going too far. I'll be right back with you guys here on the stream. Hey, good morning, everybody here on the stream. Apologize for stepping away. I wanted to get our crews mobilized and out there safely. Of most importance is keeping everybody safe out there, right? No severe warnings at the moment. We did have a tornado, an apparent tornado. There's certainly a lot of damage in an area in which we saw rotation. Springdale, we're looking at the Harbor Meadows area back towards Tawnytown. That certainly appears to have been where we have an apparent tornado touchdown. We've got some crews being mobilized and getting out there. We'll get you some more information right here throughout the course of the morning, and of course coming up on your 5 News this morning, the regularly scheduled newscast as well. Right now, we're not looking at anything severe. In fact, this one cell that I was tracking out of Sequoia County earlier, it was certainly a little stronger, and it is strong. It's got a lot of lightning with it. Goodness gracious, it's going to be moving up through Adair, and that does track into Washington County. It's not severe at the moment. Our severe thunderstorm watch does run until 3 o'clock, so for about another hour. Currently, it's 2 a.m. on the dot. So yeah, we are still looking at the potential of some severe storms. So if you're staying awake with us, and I kind of see one of your text messages, still kind of worried about the second storm, I get it. I know why you'd be worried, especially since we just had a tornado going through. So we'll want to give it a little bit more time, and we'll keep the stream live. I may need to pop away at times and take care of some of the field crews that are getting out there and gathering some information. We'll keep the stream live. I'll just step away. You won't see me, you won't hear me, but I'll of course come right back just like I did this time. Strong thunderstorm moving through Benton County. This one getting ready to move out of Adair into Washington County. Sequoia and Adair, that's where the strongest storm is right now. You look back off towards the west, hard not to see these guys kind of firing up out there as well. They're not severe at the moment. That's the good news for us. I want to show you the watch, give you an idea of what's what out there. The pink's going to be our severe thunderstorm watch. It includes all of northwest Arkansas, portions of the River Valley, Crawford, and Sequoia County specifically. Green's going to be the flood watch. That's for everybody out there. Tornado watch off towards the west, southwest. Live radar will continue scanning the skies, and looks like we're up to about 2,000 power outages in Washington County. Not surprising. We've got Joshua Weisel out there. We've mobilized Jose Carranza, Jacob Luthi also coming in, and they're going to be out there gathering some information, some video, some pictures. Joshua's already kind of sent back some to me, getting an idea of where that damage was. Harbor Meadows near Springdale, 412 there on Tawnytown. There's a Crane Kia Buick GMC dealership right there. Looks like there's some power lines down right there along 412 between Tawnytown and Springdale, kind of tracking up towards, I think there's a Cracker Barrel over there. There's some damage in that part of Springdale. That's where we suspect that that's going to be the worst as of right now. Information still coming in. It's the middle of the night. It's dark. It's rainy. It's still stormy. Sometimes things just take a while to come back in. And this is why we kept that stream up. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning now issued for that same cell that is strong. It is now severe. It's a severe thunderstorm warning coming out of Sequoia and Adair County, traveling up towards the northeast, so it does clip portions of northwest Crawford County, a good chunk of Washington County here as well. It does include Fayetteville, West Fork, Greenland, Lincoln, Prairie Grove, included in that warning. We'll take a closer look at it. Let me bounce down here a little bit. So 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds are going to be possible with this specific storm. I'll tell you, I was looking at it before I popped back on the stream. There is no rotation with it at the moment. We'll keep a looking at it just to be on the safe side, given the fact that obviously we very well did have a tornado earlier with that storm. This one, though, is specifically warned for that 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind potential. It's been a developing cell. You kind of heard me call it out a little bit earlier, right? Starting to show some signs of strengthening back through Sequoia County, west of Sallisaw, moving up near Stillwell right now. Westville is going to be on the north side of that cell. Looks like it's going to really be tracking closer and closer to between Winslow and Fayetteville along 49. The strongest part looks to be passing through that area. I'm going to do this, put a track on it. If you're still with us this morning, it's been kind of a rocky one. We've had some severe storms. This one's moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. I'm going to track this from the leading edge up towards the north at 50 miles per hour. That puts it in Evansville at 204, Prairie Grove 215, Strickler 220, Hawkeye 222, Drakesfield, the airport there on the south side of Fayetteville, 228, really into Fayetteville at 228 as well, West Fork 229, Goshen 241, Elkins 244, Hinesville at 253. Right now, Doppler radar indicates a strong thunderstorm, capable of producing some damaging winds and some large hail. We'll take a look at those winds. Those bright greens tell us, yep, there are definitely some strong winds probably coming out of that cell. Right now, straight line winds would be our primary concern. They're not tight, they're not spinning, and that's the good news for us. Let me see something here. Getting a picture, I think, coming in. Some damage reports continuing to come in. We'll focus on the specific cell while we gather some more information on the apparent tornado that is just struck Springdale, parts of Taneytown as well. Benton County, you've got a strong thunderstorm moving through. It's not warned because it's not severe at the moment. You can clearly see, just based off lightning presentation alone of this cell moving out of Sequoia into Adair County, that's the one to watch. That's the strong cell. No doubt you've got some heavy rain, some lightning and some thunder. That's going to be moving into the Springdale area, so our emergency responders that are out there tending to the folks that likely just took a hit from that apparent tornado, they're probably going to have to face that over the next several minutes as well. It's a strong thunderstorm, not severe at the moment. Let's watch it. It certainly could pulse back up and become severe at any moment. Your area where we have the strongest updraft, you can see those lightning strikes there, probably a little bit of hail coming out of that cell. That's going to be moving towards Winslow. It doesn't appear to track near Alma. It's going to come close to Mountainburg, close to Chester, likely in the Winslow community, and it very well comes up through Fayetteville here over the next several minutes as well. Got a question, is Crawford County okay to go back to sleep? Looks like the bulk of Crawford County is going to be clear from this specific storm. And I'm not asking you to stay awake all night, but you do need to know that there are cells that are developing back off to your south, and I mean to the west, and those are going to be tracking our direction over the next several hours. My recommendation to you, just have a way to receive warnings that can wake you up. Your cell phones, the NOAA weather radios, things of that nature. If those can wake you up, I think you're going to be in okay shape. This specific cell, it is going to clip parts of northwest Crawford County. It's not going to hit Alma. It's not going to come through Van Buren. Fort Smith's going to be fine from this specific cell, but it does clip northwest Crawford County. It's moving through Greasy and Stillwell right now. It's going to move through Hogeye, Morrow, Prairie Grove, Greenland, West Fork, Fayetteville over the next several minutes. It's moving at about 50 miles per hour, which is a little bit quicker than some of the others that we've seen over the last several hours, including that tornado warning, that tornado warned cell. This is our hazards right here, 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. I want to pull up my hail tracker and see what we can see coming out of that specific cell. And there's a little bit. It's not large. In fact, I'll do hail now. Probably up to about 1 inch in diameter. In fact, radar's detecting about 0.6 of an inch. So that could be anywhere between about a 1/2 inch upwards of 1 inch. 1 inch on the top end. That's going to be tracking into the Washington County area over the next several minutes. I'm going to go back to winds. Let's just take a look at, are we looking at straight line winds still? And that certainly appears to be the case. When we're looking for rotation, we look for these reds and these greens to be really tightly wound up. It's very easy at times to pinpoint rotation. And I don't see any with this. I do see some straight line gusty winds coming out of it, 50 to 60 miles per hour. I think that's going to be common for many of us. You can kind of see the evolution of that cell. Oh, go ahead. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at power outages while we're waiting on that to come through. Washington County, a little more than 2,000 power outages. That's likely going to be confined into that Springdale and Taneytown area. About 1,500 in Benton County. Are there any in Crawford? I suspect there are not. Yeah, right there, perfect. Crawford, none. Okay, good to know. So roughly about 3,800 customers without power. The majority of those are right here in our viewing area likely a result from an apparent tornado earlier. Saw the power flashes on our stream and our cameras. We lost one of our cameras as that rotation moved through, and now that we've seen the damage, it's very apparent that it was likely a tornado that came through. Not seeing that potential with this specific cell right now. We track it really closely. What we do find as this cell continues to move into squarely Adair County, soon it will cross into the Washington County, West and Southwest Washington County entirely, that we do see a lot of lightning and a lot of thunder. At some point we'll switch over some of our cameras out there. We do see a strong thunderstorm in Bentonville and Rogers right now. And I know if you're in Bentonville and Rogers, goodness, you've had a long night. You've had an early morning. You've had almost 5 storms at this point, many of which have been severe. This one is not. Now, if you're in Siloam, you're getting a bit of a break. Gentry, Decatur, you're getting a bit of a break. But notice these cells that are kind of lining up back off towards the west, out towards Tulsa. Those are going to be tracking our direction. I'll pause this live real time right now. We have the one warning for this specific cell. That one's going to run for the next little bit. It includes Adair, Sequoia, Washington, a portion of northwest Crawford County, very far northwest Crawford County, getting closer and closer to the core of that storm. The bulk of Crawford is not included, just in case one of your apps gave you that alert. Bulk of Crawford, including, let's say, Mountainburg, Uniontown, Van Buren, Alma, Van Alma, Mulberry, not included in that specific warning. Good chunk of Washington is, including Fayetteville. Fayetteville is included in this severe thunderstorm warning. This storm, it's moving pretty quickly. In fact, we're making a lot of progress into Washington County right now. Prairie Grove, things are about to get somewhat intense for you. Expect a little bit of hail, some wind, some heavy rain, and a lot of lightning and a lot of thunder. That's going to be expected with this specific cell. Winds are going to get up to about 60 miles per hour at their maximum. That doesn't mean everybody sees that kind of wind, but it certainly means that this storm is capable of producing just that. Here's Stillwell. I would suspect the strongest part of the storm right there near Stillwell, moving towards Morrow. Soon that's going to be close to that I-49 corridor. So here's going to be the tunnel, the Bobby Hopper Tunnel right there on the Washington-Crawford County line. And we're looking just north of that. North of the tunnel, all the way up through, let's say, Springdale, you're going to be in the path of this storm. It does move into eastern Washington County near Durham. Goshen, Elkins also included in this severe thunderstorm warning. Madison County is not at the moment. The orange box there is the folks that are included in this specific warning, which is set to run through. It'll pop up on the screen there, 2:45 this morning, so a little more than 30 minutes to go for this specific cell. Right now, we track the heaviest right here, where you find all those reds and those darker reds. That's where we could have half-inch up to 1 inch in diameter hail likely falling. That doesn't mean it's falling everywhere in the polygon, but at the maximum, we probably have a little bit of large hail mixing in addition to some other small hail sizes as well. A lot of heavy rain, probably some gusty 60-mile-per-hour straight line winds very well could be possible. Here's Fayetteville, where my finger is right here. So University, you got the campus there. Here's Highway 62, runs over towards Farmington. Farmington's included in this warning as well. Things are somewhat quiet at the moment in Farmington, but this storm is going to be tracking into Farmington, Greenland, West Fork, Fayetteville, perhaps even Johnson, I think, is included in this warning as well. Winslow, you're right on the line. If you're in Winslow, I just suspect you're about to get a strong storm move through over the next several minutes. We'll take another area-wide look, see what else is developing out there while we get some more information. It's been somewhat quiet in the River Valley this evening. These storms have pretty much almost entirely been north of I-40, with the exception of a few spotty to scattered showers in portions of the River Valley earlier this evening. You see these 3 distinct cells that are lining up between Webbers Falls and Sequoia County. Those 3 cells almost marching east-northeast, one after the other. You start to see some things like that, especially given the fact that we've seen a decent amount of rain in some of these heavier thunderstorms over the last several hours. You're probably going to get some flooding concerns too. We expected that going into this event, and I think that's going to be starting to be a thing we'll see in the next several hours. I'm going to look at the lightning on this. There's a lot of lightning in this specific cell. 311 strikes. 311 strikes in the last 10 minutes alone. You see all those little white dots there? That's all lightning strikes. want to look at the winds, just make sure we don't have any additional rotation trying to develop within that cell. I don't see any. We did have an apparent tornado earlier, so I think a lot of us are kind of on guard for that. The ingredients overall for tornadoes this evening are somewhat low. They're not zero, but they are low nonetheless. Obviously, they're not zero. So it's these Adair County. I want to watch this. The reason I want to watch this, let me show you something to you. You see this little notch right here, exiting southeast Adair County into portions of northwest Crawford. This means north of Uniontown, right there along 59, right? A little bit of a hook starting to develop right there. Hook in of itself, not anything severe in of itself, but it may be one of those precursors to something that may try to rotate over the next several minutes. Let's be very mindful of that. Danny up in the booth, just going to want you to hear me say that. We're watching this real closely right here, getting ready to cross out of Crawford County into southwest Washington County. This will be west of Winslow. A little bit of a hook starting to develop. When I look at the winds, I don't see the rotation that's there, so no immediate concern. It's one of those things that we want to watch over the next few minutes and see how that evolves. We hope it remains a straight line wind event, a potential, or nothing at all. But right now, 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch hail. Springdale is included in this severe thunderstorm warning as well. I did not call you out earlier specifically. Kind of had a rough night there in Springdale. Danny's our producer working in the booth this evening. Danny, just want to keep the folks, our crews that are mobilizing out there safe. If you could let them know, they are included in another severe thunderstorm warning. So rain is going to pick up, probably some wind, maybe even a little bit of hail. Let's just keep those folks there safe with that specific cell. It's crossing out of Adair County into southwestern Washington County, northwestern Crawford at the moment. A little bit of a hook starting to develop right here. Kind of saw that happen earlier this evening as that cell moved into the Tawnytown and Springdale area. Soon it developed some rotation. So that's why I focus so intently on that specifically, is because we've kind of seen how this has played out earlier this evening. Doesn't mean it's going to play out the exact same way with this specific cell, but it's certainly something that has my attention, and I just want to share that with you in the spirit of transparency. Here's going to be I-49. Everybody between Springdale and Winslow likely needs to avoid some windows, especially west-facing windows. You're probably going to have some gusty winds coming out of that. A little bit of hail as well. We'll take a look at Hail Tracker first. I want to just check back in on rotation. Not seeing a whole heck of a lot really there. Certainly looks like there could be some damaging straight line winds right now. When it comes to the hail potential, there's a little bit there. In fact, radar continues to show that potential of nearly 1 inch in diameter hail, which is going to be right around the size of quarters, moving closer and closer tomorrow, and that's going to come close into the Fayetteville area as well, likely over the next several minutes. This is actually seeing some radar indicated hail sizes increasing, and that's why the polygon there is flashing on your screen. We're now up to 1.25 inches of an inch. So we're probably looking right around that quarter-size hailstone mark, maybe getting closer to ping pong size with that cell. It's moving quickly. Hook echo right now, just to the west of, let's say west of the tunnel, Bobby Hopper Tunnel, right there along I-49. You've got some terrain, right? It'd be really tough to see anything specifically right there, but very obvious hook echo has developed on that cell. We go back to live rotation tracker, and I'm not seeing anything that's just overtly concerning at the moment, but certainly something that we want to watch really closely in that general vicinity. I know one thing well. Everyone around these parts knows how to pick out a hook echo, and so you obviously don't need me to tell you that's exactly what that is. If you're new around here, maybe, and we welcome you, right? Hook echo is often one of those shapes, these little notches in the storms where you've got strong inflow, which inevitably supports a nice updraft, which is one of those critical ingredients to getting a good mesocyclone developing. It's a precursor to potential rotation, but it doesn't always translate that direction, right? So we watch it closely just to be on the safe side, especially given what likely happened earlier this evening this morning, I should say, in Tinytown and Springdale. The area of rotation would be tracking north of Winslow, probably getting really close to West Fork on this current trajectory that the storm is currently taking off towards the northeast. Hail, high winds, and some frequent lightning and thunder, heavy rain expected in the Fayetteville, Farmington, Lincoln communities, likely right now, and if not right now, in the next several minutes as this storm continues tracking off towards the northeast. Let me do this. I'm going to measure how quick it's moving so I can put a storm track on this for you. It's moving northeast at 50, so that's maintaining its speed. Okay, we'll probably do that here in just a couple of seconds. Thank you. Strickler, 228. Big Spring Church, that's a historical site, 232. West Fork, 239. Greenland, I expect that area of rotation there at 244, right at 245 in Drakefield, Sulphur City, 248. Elkins at 252. What we notice here, and I'm in communication with the National Weather Service on my computer screen here, the mid-level rotation or mid-level cyclone in the upper levels of the storm, is somewhat organizing. That has yet to translate to the surface yet. That means we don't see any imminent tornado potential at the moment, but the overall storm structure and what we kind of know about its health overall is indicative of something that we want to pay very close attention to. Right now it is a severe thunderstorm warning. It's warned for the potential of 60-mile-per-hour winds, straight line winds, upwards of ping-pong size hail. A lot of lightning also tells us it's a pretty strong storm. Should there be some rotation to develop, it would be in that general vicinity where that hook echo is. Can Rogers people go to sleep? Here's the thing, folks. There are going to be multiple rounds of storms on and off all night tonight. I wish I could tell you you could go to sleep and you weren't going to get woken up, but I can't. There are more storms developing back off towards the west. So my recommendation is just have that mobile app, have a NOAA weather radio, something that can alert you should a warning be issued. I don't want you necessarily staying up all night if you don't have to. You got to get a little bit of sleep. But there's going to be on and off showers and storms that are set to continue. So they're developing back off towards the west. They're all tracking our direction. Not necessarily severe at the moment, but certainly very well could be. And we've kind of seen that trend over the last several minutes. So you saw that cell there. Before we do look at some damage reports and damage photos, I'm going to look at the rotation. No, nothing super pronounced. Nothing super pronounced right here. Maybe a really broad signal at best, so nothing too concerning. So while we're waiting on some new information there, let's go ahead and take a look at some reports from Joshua Weisel, our weather team member. He is in the area that had some damage earlier. This is going to be video from Joshua Weisel. Numerous power poles have been pushed over. We saw that report earlier. This here, I can't exactly tell where that is, but I do know he was near Crane Buick GMC there along 412. You see that power pole right there just kind of pushed over. So kind of looping back, looks like we've got some power crews right here. This is going to be right along 412 in Tinytown, west side of Springdale. That's where we saw some of the damage reports come in pretty early. Harbor Meadows is a neighborhood that likely has a little bit of damage as well. The bulk of this traveled right along 412, it appears, Sunset Avenue in Springdale. Okay, thank you so much for that. Let's go back over to the live radar here. Doppler radar continues to show a very strong severe thunderstorm moving into portions of Washington County. There is portions of it that remain in Crawford. That's not going to be the case for much longer. The tail end of that cell is getting very, very close to pushing entirely into Washington. We've dropped your warning for Adair County. You've just fallen off of that as the cell continues to track closer and closer to that I-49 corridor between Winslow and Fayetteville right here, and that's going to continue pushing east-northeast with time. Lightning is still very pronounced, hail, and now we have a tornado possible tag with this. So here's what I would like to do. Tornado possible tag is the Weather Service saying you need to watch this cell closely. We're not going to issue a tornado warning yet, but we might be inching that direction. And that's why this is popped up on your screen right here. With that said, folks in the booth, it's 2:23. If we could, let's just go ahead and get on Channel 5. Let's get ahead of the storm. and let me know whenever we're ready for that, and we can go ahead and do just that. In the meantime, we'll continue with our coverage here on 5 Plus, Facebook, YouTube, and our free mobile app. If you're in the path of this storm, know this. There may be a point in which I ask you to go take shelter. You can just stream us live on your mobile phone, or you can turn your television up really loud. Please don't just stay looking at the TV, right? If we ask you to seek shelter, we really, really want you to do that. Okay, I'm standing by to go on Channel 5.
Live on 5 News and streaming on 5 Plus, this is a Weather Impact Alert.
All right, good morning to everybody right here on Channel 5. We've been covering a severe thunderstorm warning for the last little bit right here on 5 Plus, as well as on Facebook, YouTube, and on our free mobile app. Now we interrupt your regular programming to bring you some information about what's right now just a severe thunderstorm warning. But it is not just a severe thunderstorm warning. It is a warning that has what we call a tornado possible tag. You don't see a lot of these, and so you might not be really sure what they are. So let me just kind of walk you through this. You've got a severe thunderstorm warning and you've got a tornado warning, two very different things, but the Weather Service is able to kind of add this little note to their severe thunderstorm warnings for cells that are trying to develop that may be an environment that could potentially support continued growth into a cell that could produce a tornado. We're kind of in the middle there. Given that's the case, given the fact that we likely did have a tornado an hour or two ago in Tarnytown and Springdale, I wanted to cut into programming, and it's not something I take pleasure in doing. Okay, excellent. Having a little bit of trouble getting on there. And you know what? That's why we want to go early. So if you're watching us online, you're going to get to hear that spill.
Live on 5 News and streaming on 5 Plus, this is a Weather Impact Alert.
All right, good morning to everybody on Channel 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert. For the last several minutes, we've been tracking a severe thunderstorm warning moving through now Washington County. This isn't necessarily a standard severe thunderstorm warning. This one has an interesting tag to it. This one has a tornado possible tag. That's the Weather Service's way of saying right now the storm is not exhibiting enough rotation that would warrant a tornado warning. That's why the sirens aren't going off. That's why your phones aren't alerting you to anything. But there is enough storm structure and the environment supports the quick development of a tornado that we're going to go ahead and just add this little bit of a note to it. I didn't necessarily want to break into programming and interrupt whatever you were watching on television. But given the situation that we've got, and given the fact that it is the middle of the night and we might want to get some advance warning out there, I am doing so. I don't take pleasure in it, but I am doing so. Right now, this severe storm is moving through Fayetteville, Lincoln, Prairie Grove, Farmington, West Fork, Winslow. You see this little notch right here, just to the west of Winslow. If there were a rotation to develop, that's where it would be. And it looks like there might be a little bit of very broad rotation in that general vicinity just to the west of Winslow. I don't think it's very pronounced. It's certainly more straight line wind evident than I think rotation, but it is certainly something we want to keep a close eye on, especially given the fact that it is in a cell that could support something developing here over the next several minutes. Right now, it has a warning for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and ping pong ball size hail, inch and a quarter in diameter. That's moving just to the east of Morrow at this point. That's where the heaviest is. Prairie Grove's right here. I'll bump the map down just a little bit so you can see that. In fact, I'll actually even zoom in a little bit for you. Here's West Fork. You're going to be you are in the path of this storm. Rain's starting to pick up in West Fork and Greenland. It's going to get stronger, right? The rain's going to get heavier, and at times there's going to be a little bit of hail mixing in. Your winds are going to get breezy as well. There's a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder happening out there. That may have been what woke you up, of all things. 265 right there, State Highway 156. Here's 62 that runs through Prairie Grove and eventually up through Farmington. Area of concern is going to be right now on 220, and I'll just tell you, given the terrain right there, and if you've ever, and a lot of us have, driven up 49 near the tunnel, you know there's a lot of hills and there's a lot of valleys. Should there actually be a wall cloud right here, it would be almost impossible to see. The low-level circulation hasn't changed much at all with this. There's not really been a whole lot. In the mid-levels of the atmosphere, there has been some organization and a little bit of spin. You get to the low levels where we are, where tornadoes happen, not necessarily the case. It doesn't take much, and sometimes that all can happen really quickly. And we saw that earlier this morning in Springdale. So we'll track this for you very closely in the meantime. Here's Winslow right now. We're looking just to the west of Winslow, right along 220, should there be something trying to develop at the moment. I'll look at the hail tracker, and we do have the potential of quarter-size hail, maybe up to ping-pong ball size hail, right along 265, that pushing towards the northeast as well. That is going to impact everybody along I-49 and 71 between Winslow and, let's say, probably Greenland. Maybe some of that may skirt into Fayetteville as well. Velocity, we go back and look at the winds. And that rotation is there. It's somewhat broad. It's not necessarily organized. And now we're getting closer to State Highway 74. Of course, that's going to interchange right there with 49. That's where we would be expecting some of that rotation. Folks up in the booth, I do believe there are some RDOT cameras there. If we want to look at one or two that might be just north of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel, that may very well be helpful to us. Those cameras are going to be up and down 49. So if you want to look in that area just north of the Crawford, Washington County line, that's where we would want to focus in on. A little bit of hail moving into the West Fork community over the next several minutes. We have 60-mile-per-hour straight-line winds possible in addition to that tornado possible tag. If you're just now kind of joining us, we've got one severe thunderstorm warning. There's no imminent tornado with that, but this supercell that's moving through has shown some signs that it's trying to organize into a cell that could be capable of that. And so we wanted to break into programming just to be on the safe side for you. It's currently I'll give it about 2 more seconds. It's currently 2:30 on the dot. This warning is set to expire in 15 minutes. It's not showing any signs of weakening, so I highly suspect that other portions of Washington County and then eventually extending over into Madison County will be included in a new warning, unless this thing just really weakens in a great deal amount of time. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but maybe it will. That would be great. I want to put my cell phone number up here on the screen. This is a way to get some information to me. I don't have access to the comments on Facebook, unfortunately, but if you want to get some reports to me, damage reports, whether that was from the Springdale, Taneytown cell, or from this one that's moving through right now, 479-785-5000 is the number to reach us right here. We have had some thunderstorms move through over the last several hours, one of which likely produced a tornado along Highway 412, Sunset Avenue, between Taneytown and Springdale. We've gotten some damage reports. Our teams are there on the scene right now gathering some information. We've been able to share some of those photos and videos, and we'll do so again here in the next few minutes. Right now, I want to stay focused on this cell. The good news for us, what's happening right now, as you look at this, you don't see as pronounced of a hook echo, right? You don't see that storm structure, that overall shape and the crisp inflow that we once saw there near Winslow. What's likely happening is the terrain. The terrain is probably influencing and kind of shaping some of this cell in a way that maybe is beneficial to us. We do have showers and thunderstorms in Rogers and Bentonville, as well as War Eagle, back towards Avoca. Those are not severe at the moment. I'm tracking them for you. Those are not severe. Our only severe concern right now is in this polygon right here for Washington County. Good chunk of Washington County, in fact. Adair has since been canceled. We're watching some storms off towards the west. Some folks asking, will this storm come towards Cave Springs area? Not that one, no. But as you can see, and when I zoom out, there is some additional scattered activity back off towards the west. Some of those showers and storms that aren't severe at the moment out towards Tulsa, those could try to skirt you in Cave City. Hard to say at this point. They're not severe at the moment. That's the good news. We'll do an area-wide reset just in case. Just in case you're in the River Valley wondering, goodness, what's going on? It's been really quiet in the River Valley this evening. This cell that is severe right now, it did get its start in Sequoia County. A lot of lightning and a lot of thunder here in Sequoia County, moving up into Adair off towards the northeast. All of these storms are tracking towards the northeast. So right now, River Valley is quiet. Probably a lot of people sleeping peacefully there. But the severe threat is continuing to be in northwest Arkansas. There's the number at the bottom of your screen. Thank you so much for putting that up. House shaking thunder. I get it. I'm in a soundproof studio and I still hear it. despite the fact this is supposed to be a soundproof studio, which is absolutely wild to me. That just is a testament to how loud the thunder is out there with this specific cell moving into the area. Let's take a look at how much lightning it has right now. It has a lot. You can see that, and I'm looking at some of our camera network off here, and we're certainly picking up a lot. 206 lightning strikes over the last 10 minutes with this one. Let's go back into it. This is going to be moving through Washington County right now. Looks like that hook trying to kind of re-emerge right there near Winslow. Let's take a look at our wind velocities. That's what kind of gives us an idea if there's rotation or not. There is a little bit of broad rotation, but I'll tell you, it's not very strong. And broad rotation moving towards Winslow doesn't necessarily mean a tornado is imminent, but where you kind of find some of those colors, those wind velocities kind of matching up, is where you would have a little bit of a concern. Right now, I'm not seeing anything that's giving me too much heartburn. Let's see how that evolves with time, and certainly how the terrain there is influencing things. Weather Service has canceled portions of western Washington County out of the severe thunderstorm warning. Morrow was included in that. Now Prairie Grove continues. Fayetteville, Greenland, West Fork, Winslow, Goshen, Elkins, Durham also included in this warning. Your area of concern right here in terms of rotation, that's going to be tracking off towards the east-northeast. Let's watch that really closely for us over the next several minutes, and we'll do just that for you. When it comes to the rain mode, you can see that hook echo is definitely starting to reemerge there for sure. Let's go back to some video that Joshua Weisel sent back in. We've got teams heading to the damage site there. This is along 412. Harbor Meadows is one of the neighborhoods that look likely took some damage. Looks like some of the car dealerships along 412. There's a lot of power lines being pushed over. I'll tell you, from what I've seen thus far, and granted I'm in the studio and not actually out there, from what I've seen so far, I've not seen significant damage. And I hope that continues to be the case. I have seen damage though, certainly an apparent tornado. Maybe if it's just some stuff like kind of what we've seen preliminarily, maybe it ends up being a weaker tornado. Right now though, we're gathering some more information. We've got a lot of crews scrambling, heading there. I'm trying to keep them safe while they're out there gathering information and gathering some information that we can pass along to you. When that happens, we'll certainly let you know. Let's go back over to live radar. I'm also seeing all of your text messages coming in right now. About 4,000 power outages, generally speaking, in Washington and Benton County. Got some tree limbs down on Airport Loop Road in Rogers. That's probably some straight line winds that moved through earlier. Thank you for that report. I'm going to pass that along to the Weather Service. Power outages in Rogers, very strong winds, lightning, house shaking thunder. Saw that one. Thank you so much. I live in Rogers. Is it safe to go home? We are at Rogers Hospital. So, you know, you're probably okay. Yeah, I would think so. You're not in a warning, that's for sure. Our only warning is this booger right here. West Fork, Fayetteville, Greenland, Farmington, even Prairie Grove still included in that warning. This is the only severe storm right now. Of course, you're going to have some rain moving your direction over the next several minutes. You got a little bit of light to moderate rain right now as well. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's take a look at our Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce camera. This one's going to be pointing north, which is pointing away from the area of rotation. But nonetheless, it is certainly a sign that you see some really strong cells moving through. I mean, goodness gracious, that's some blinding rain, a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder. You kind of hear that, hear the wind shaking things around quite a bit as well. Let's do this. Can we pull up our roof cam? This one's on top of the station here. It's kind of, some of the street lights look really bright, but this is pointed off towards the south. If you see these cars right here, it's kind of tough to see through the trees, but that's looking over I-49 right there, back off towards the southwest where that cell's coming up from. That's a good camera to keep a look in. And let's maybe even take a look at our Slim Chickens camera. If we could, I can spin that one around, I think, from my cell phone. Power on and off here at Beaver Lake. Yep, I certainly think that probably is going to continue to be the case for you. So this is our Slim Chickens camera. This is looking over towards 71B. What I'll do Switch over to that one. I'm not looking at my cell phone, promise. I'm actually changing the direction of that camera if I can log into it. It'll take me just a second, and I'll point it back off towards the southwest. Hope I don't give anyone vertigo. There's Washington Regional Hospital right there. We'll be looking back towards campus. Sometimes we can see Old Main. We're not going to be able to this morning, but this is looking off towards the southwest from pretty much College and 71B there, just near that interchange, right on the Slim Chickens building. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder, which is what you would certainly expect. Here's Washington Regional, just where that beacon is right there. I'll leave it right there just so you have a general idea of what we're looking at. Nothing imminent in terms of tornado potential right now. We do continue to have this severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Fayetteville, for Greenland, for West Fork, for Prairie Grove, for Elkins. Goshen's not technically, and I know I've called you out. Let's go back to live radar, can we? Perfect. Elkins is actually, Goshen's not technically in the warning, Elkins is, but it does have a tornado possible tag. This is the Weather Service's way of saying, you know what, that rotation's not there to warrant a tornado warning, but the storm itself has a structure to it, an organization to it that would constitute you just paying really close attention. And I'll tell you, your hook echo is going to be now to the northeast of Winslow. It's subtle, it's there though, and that's what we want to be concerned with. It's kind of moving towards the northeast. We'll see what the Weather Service does with regards to an additional warning. This one's set to expire at 2:45, so technically in about 5 minutes. What I suspect is probably going to happen is they're going to issue an additional warning downstream that would include more of Elkins going into Madison County as well. It's intense, a lot of lightning and a lot of thunder, heavy rain in Washington County right now. And if you're just waking up, Mother Nature's kind of got you up and you're wondering what in the world is going on. Right now, it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. There very well could be some hail within this cell. Right now, the hail potential is up to about 1.25 inches, which is technically ping pong size. Winds up to about 60 or so miles per hour possible with this. We're talking straight line winds. We've watched this little appendage here. That's the fancy way of just saying an old classic notch, that little hook echo. There at times have been some mid-level rotation with that cell. It hasn't made it to the lower levels yet. But I'll tell you this, we likely did have a tornado in Taneytown and Springdale an hour or two ago, and it had a similar presentation for a long time where it wasn't at the surface, but it was in the mid-levels, and it didn't take long at all. Almost happened like that. And then we started seeing some damage reports come in. So can I say that that's exactly what's going to happen here? No. Hopefully it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't at all. It's a good chance it doesn't at all. But given the history of what we've seen, that would suggest the environment could support something along those lines. And that's part of the reason why the Weather Service added that tornado possible tag. Here's Huntsville right here. Here's going to be Hinesville. I expect a downstream warning. There it is. Magic, just like that. Here's your new severe thunderstorm warning. That one specifically is going to include portions of Carroll County as well. That extends way out there. So that one is going to be a warning that runs until, let's see, 3:45, so an hour from now. That's a long warning. It's a very long warning to go, for sure. That warning itself specifically for 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1 inch hail as well. I'm going to take a look at our Rogers camera. This thing is pointed towards the northeast. This is I-49, so no severe weather in Rogers, but it does show a lot of that lightning, and that's going to continue to be the case. Here is our Bentonville camera, Jack Link's camera, and I think I've got that pointed towards the west, so we're not going to see a whole lot there. So I'll back up to Rogers. Not a lot of traffic out there on I-49 this morning. That's some good news. Let me go back over to your text messages and see if I can't answer some additional questions. Looks like there's a tree down along Highway 59. This is going to be, I think, in near Benton in Washington County. You've pointed Holiday Inn south. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at that. This is going to be our Springdale camera that sits on top of the Holiday Inn hotel right there along I-49. Just for some context, here's Arkansas Children's Hospital right here, Sam's Club just right behind me. We're kind of looking into the heart of that cell. This is the camera that did show us that lowering earlier as it moved through portions of Tawnytown and eventually into Springdale. So this one's been a good one for us tonight, showing that area of rotation, that lowering. Not seeing that out there right now. That's the good news. That storm, though, is producing a lot of lightning. Very, very strong storm. Question came in, how fast is this specific storm moving? It's moving relatively quickly. Right now, we've got it progged at 60 miles per hour. Okay, we have Joshua Weissel, our weather team member, who was likely one of the first folks on scene out at Tawnytown, Springdale along 412. If we could, let's put Doppler radar behind me and let's talk to Joshua if we want to patch him through. Okay, Joshua, where are you? What are you seeing and what have you seen?
So we're currently on Elm Springs Road, crossing over 49 right now. We've been driving all over town to see if we can see any sort of damage. We were among probably the first few. We were there before power crews were on scene on West Sunset Ave in Springdale. We drove back through that little neighborhood that there may have been damage in, Harbor Meadows, and as far as we saw, we didn't see any structural damage, but we did see tree limb damage in there. But overall, the most significant damage that we've seen was the power poles that there were video of. That was in front of the crane dealership, the Buick, and then I think it was Springdale Tractor. Now, the Springdale Tractor side had more in terms of the power poles that were snapped. There was a power pole that was snapped and kind of tangled around some earth mover that was parked out on the front. So something very well may have come through there. I know when I was watching it as it was moving there earlier, I did see those power flashes that were mentioned. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe there was something that went through there. But the overall damage that we've seen is fortunately not significant in terms of structural damage. I didn't see any homes that had any structural damage from my perspective. We did see some tree limb damage. We did see that power pole damage. There is a large area without power back in that little area on West Sunset Ave. Businesses and Harbor Meadows are completely without power at this time. But fortunately, at least from our perspective so far, we haven't seen any sort of significant damage. We drove all the way up into Lowell to see if we could see any sort of similar damage if it continued for that long or hopscotched or anything along those lines. But the further north we went, there was still power. We couldn't find any damage on our end. So we're headed back towards Sunset Avenue to see if we can check out a little bit more in terms of that damage once the next round kind of pushed us through. But fortunately, right now, no significant structural damage, which is a good thing. But there is definitely lots of power outages as this system moved through. And even as we're headed back now, we're getting closer. We can still see some small tree limbs kind of on the road, nothing large, just little twigs here and there, leaves scattered on the road as we're headed back towards Ozark Center right now near exit 72. So you can just see a little bit of tree limb damage here and there, but definitely looking to the west, we can still see that power outage. There's just kind of a giant black spot. You see all the lights, and then you look further to the west, and then you just see this kind of dark area where the power is completely out at this time.
Joshua, we are getting reports of about 4,000 or so customers without power between Washington and Benton County. One of the things that I'm curious about, and when you get back out into that damaged zone, if you want to look for, what direction are those power poles now leaning? Are they all leaning in the same direction, which would make me think that was more of a straight line wind event? Are they leaning in opposite and different directions? Which would maybe solidify the idea that this was actually a tornado. If you don't have that answer, that's totally fine. It's certainly something we'll look into over the next several minutes.
So when I was there earlier, and we're almost back there again. When I was there earlier, they were all snaps facing, I believe it was to the north. So there were several that were facing north, but there was kind of a middle section where there were at least two or three that were completely snapped from the lower half.
Okay.
So we're talking probably about 5 to 6 feet off the ground is when they were snapped. So we're coming back up on that here in probably about 30 seconds or so. We can get another look at it, but it wouldn't surprise me. I don't want to confirm a tornado, obviously. It wouldn't surprise me if this was either straight line winds or a very weak tornado that pushed through here. But some indicators that I noticed when I pulled up on the scene is just about probably 30 yards to the south of where the power poles were. There's some fencing from some farmland that is just to the south. And one of the interesting things that we noticed was there was no damage to that fence that we could see. Unfortunately, there's no trees to kind of see how that would have played out. But right between the Buick sign and where the Springdale tractors is where, if anything happened, it probably would have crossed through there, just because we have two large power lines that are basically snapped either 6 feet to 10 feet off the ground. The ones that are snapped, of course, are kind of just moving whatever, but most of the power lines are pushed facing north, but about, I'd have to guess, probably about 30 yards north of where they start to get pushed to the north. They're standing completely fine. So it's probably about a 300-yard path where they're leaning to the north, and then everything north and or west and east of it is completely fine, standing still.
Okay, Joshua Weisel on the phone for us in the damage zone right now from a potential tornado earlier. If it wasn't a tornado, it potentially could have been straight line winds. Joshua, be safe out there. We'll check back in with you, and we'll continue to get more information to pass along to our viewers. I'd like to go back to live Doppler radar right now. Some good news to pass along to you. Right now, the Weather Service has said, yes, that storm is still severe, and we see that. I mean, there's no question about it, but they've dropped that tornado possible tag. That's the good news for us right now. So I don't necessarily want to let our guard down. There is still a pronounced hook echo getting ready to move out of Washington into portions of Madison County. You kind of see that notch right there. That's where we would have a concern. Right now, I'm feeling a little bit better about that cell than I did earlier. We take a look at the winds, and that rotation signal just isn't there at the moment. Could come back, and these storms just do that. They pulse up, they pulse down, they pulse up, pulse down. They could do that. Looks like we have a new warning. This is going to be a new tornado warning, perhaps. Is that what that's going to be for us, or is that going to be a flood warning? I bet it's going to be a flood warning. Yes, that's going to be a flood warning. Goodness gracious. Okay. A flood warning for portions of Benton County. The reds there look pretty similar. Kind of caught me off guard a bit, to be quite honest. Flood warning for a good chunk of Benton County. It does include portions of Washington as well as Adair and Delaware counties. That flood warning is going to be in effect for a little bit longer. We'll focus in on the severe weather warnings, though, for now. We'll come back to that flooding concern, which I'm afraid is going to continue to materialize as we continue to see more storms move into the area. With that said, this storm has now passed to the east of Fayetteville, likely moving through portions of Elkins and Goshen, soon to pass through Hinesville and Huntsville. It's a strong storm. It's got some hail in it, more than likely. At largest, there could be some 1 inch in diameter stones beginning to mix into that cell. Not all the hail may be 1 inch. It may be every other hailstone or so, but at their largest, they could be the size of quarters. That's the 1 inch equivalent there for you. We'll take a closer look into this. Right now, Goshen and Elkins is kind of in the thick of it. If you live anywhere along Highway 16, let's say 303, here's Johnston Road right here. Hinesville there right along 412, of course, a blossoming area, 295, a lot of folks right there. That's where your hail is potentially going to be. Here's Fayetteville and here's Greenland, and you've got more coming your direction. It's not severe necessarily, but you're probably going to expect to continue to hear that thunder. You're going to see that lightning a little bit longer. Heavy rain is set to continue for you, but the severe weather has now passed to your east. It's pretty much right on the Washington-Madison County line at this moment. Some other news to pass along to you. We'll take first a look area-wide. There has not been a whole lot in the River Valley, but we now start to see some scattered showers beginning to develop in Crawford, Sebastian, soon to move into Franklin counties. Another strong cell moving into western Sequoia County. At the moment, that is not necessarily strong. But it very well could become. We've seen that. In fact, this severe storm right here started in Sequoia County, pulsed up pretty quickly. So we know that that environment not entirely worked over just yet. Certainly could support the additional rounds of severe weather. This cell's exiting Washington very quickly. It's up to 60 miles per hour. So it's moving into Madison, and it eventually does move into southeastern Carroll County. Eureka Springs, while you're dealing with one severe thunderstorm, this one likely passes just off to your south. That's a little bit of good news for us. I want to let you know that our severe thunderstorm watch has been extended for a few counties until 5 p.m. Crawford, I think, is going to be one. Let's see that. Yes. So the severe thunderstorm watch for Benton, Carroll, Crawford, Madison, and Washington. So all of the pink, purple counties here in our viewing area, it was set to expire at 3 o'clock this morning. Weather Service is seeing the ingredients that are still there. Hey, the threat persists. Let's extend that watch. So now that's going to run through 5 a.m. this morning for the areas here in pink. That's going to be your severe thunderstorm watch. Let's go back to live radar. What I want to do is just put a 1 hour loop on this. You can see that that cell that's now exiting Washington, moving squarely into Madison. It's a quick mover, and that is going to put it in Carroll County here real soon. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder, and there's more lightning and more thunder elsewhere where we don't have severe storms necessarily. This maroon polygon here, that's a flash flood warning. Rainfall rates are rather high. That's an area that has seen a lot of rain earlier with those storms that have been moving through, and with additional showers likely developing and tracking through those same areas, we're probably going to continue to see more and more flooding that is probably already happening out there right now. Let's do this. Let's go back into this specific cell, as it's in Madison County. At least the worst of it certainly is right now. So just for some context, there's Hinesville, there's 412. Let's look at the hail. It's really come down. It's not near as defined as it was when it was passing through portions of Washington County, but that hail certainly is tracking into Madison, if there is any at all. It's coming down, which is some good news for us. Let's take a look at the winds and see what they're doing. The warning itself for potentially 60-mile-per-hour winds. A little bit of broad rotation perhaps right there. It's so broad that I hate to even mention it because I know that word scares folks. It's not severe enough, it's not tight enough, it's not high enough that we would be concerned, but just to the north of Japton, west of Huntsville, right there where 295 runs into 74, a little bit of a concern right there. That's probably where that hook or whatever's left of it would be. Let me do this. I'm getting some information from the Weather Service. This is a long message. Just give me a second to read this. Storm moving into Madison County, looking less organized than earlier. Dropped it back to a base severe thunderstorm warning. That's information we've already passed along to you, so that's some good news. With that said, let's do this. I want to keep the stream up. I want to stay here on 5+. And Facebook and YouTube and the other things. We can go ahead and return Channel 5 back to regular programming. I know it's going to take you a second, so whenever you're ready to do that, just let me know, and we can say goodbye to everyone watching on Channel 5. If that's you and you're in Madison County, we're still here for you. We're streaming live on 5+. That's our free app, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Roku, whatever other devices are out there. It's free. Our mobile apps for your cell phone, just search us in the app stores, Google Play stores. We're streaming there as well. Facebook, we're there. YouTube, we're there. I'm trying to be as in many places as I possibly can be for you this morning. Those just to name a few. If a tornado warning is issued, or if there is a cell that even looks like it may try to produce a tornado, we'll cut back into programming. Until then, I think we're okay to go back to whatever was playing. I'm sure it was great entertainment, I'm sure, here at 3 in the morning. So folks up in the booth, let me know whenever you're ready. Okay, yeah. All right, good morning here, everybody on our streaming platforms. Thank you for just bearing with us as we kind of got off of Channel 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert. We've got the full team assembled here this morning. We're tracking a couple of things for you. Number one, we have a severe thunderstorm warning right now for our friends in Madison County. That includes Hinesville, it includes Clifty and Huntsville and Japton as well. Right now, the storm is showing some signs of weakening. Still technically meeting the severe weather limits, which is why the warning set to continue until 3:45. Currently, it's right around almost 3 o'clock, 2:58 technically. I'll tell you, this storm is moving quick enough, and it's weakening to some extent. The warning may end up being allowed to expire. Fingers crossed that continues to happen. I do need to tell you that we have had an apparent tornado earlier this morning along 412 in Tawnytown and Springdale. I'm really careful to say the word apparent tornado and preface it with that because only the National Weather Service can come and confirm that it was actually a tornado. What I can definitively tell you is that where we had an area of rotation, where we had a lowering in the cloud, is co-locating with where we're getting damage reports. We've got teams in the field. You've heard from Joshua Weisel. He's there right now. He's sent back some video. We've got other reporters and news anchors and photographers there right now as well. And so I suspect we'll probably be able to share some images with you here very shortly. When we can do so, we will do just that. Of course, your 5 News this morning comes up. I think we start at 6, 5, 6. We start this morning at some point. I don't know. It all runs together. Really, it's hard to keep track of it all. We're going to keep tracking all of your weather. Right now, our only severe concern is in Madison County. If you're up this morning because you're hearing a lot of lightning and a lot of thunder, just know this, that doesn't always mean severe. So just keep that in mind. Other thing I need to let you know, you probably just saw some glitching on your screen. Our television station takes some power strikes. The lightning hits our station because we've got a tower that is gigantuan. So if you see the screen flickering, it's not your phone, it's not your television, it's not your app, it's us. The lightning is hitting us, and I can assure you, I feel it. It's like 100 feet from me. It's just us. We're just taking some lightning strikes. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, likely moving through the Huntsville, Hinesville, Clifty area right now. Japton's, of course, included in this warning. Let me take that data off so you can get a better idea of what the radar looks like without that information on the screen. Here's your warning polygon. It does extend back into western, east of 49 into Washington County. The severe cell is actually this one right here that I'm kind of drawing an outline around. So as you can see, it's no longer in Washington. Despite the fact you've got some strong storms moving through, I hear the lightning, I hear the thunder, I hear the rain, it's not severe. Your severe concern, if there were to be any hail at all, it's going to be in this neighborhood right here. It's going to be where we see those winds 60 or so miles per hour. That's at the top level, right? Not everything is going to reach those limits. One thing to pass along to you, right now we're seeing rainfall rates about 1.5 to 2 inches per hour in Washington County. So that's going to start to even increase the likelihood that we're seeing some flash flooding. I think what I can do here, I'm afraid this is going to look a little psychedelic. It does. Sorry that this looks psychedelic. This is not live radar. What this is the radar telling us how much and how heavy the rain is that's falling. And when you start to see precipitation rates that quick, what we're indicating to you, what radar is estimating is should that rain fall consistently for 60 minutes, 1 hour, in our rain gauges, we'd have 1.75 inches. That's a lot of rain in a short amount of time. It's tough for the drainage ditches and the creeks and the sewers and the gutters to keep up with rain rates that high. So right now, you see that maroon polygon in Benton County, including parts of Northwest Washington County as well. I need to be clear on that. That's a flash flood warning. I suspect we'll probably end up seeing additional flash flood warnings, just given those rainfall rates that we're seeing right now. With what rain has come through, creeks are going to start to rise, gutters are going to start to fill up. That's probably going to continue to be the case, especially when we look back off towards the west as to what's moving our direction right now. This warning set to expire at 3:45, so technically in about 43 minutes or so. It does include Carroll County, and it is going to push back into portions of Carroll County here real soon. Right now, the strongest part is getting ready to move into Huntsville. Hinesville's probably seeing some pretty intense rainfall right now as well. Anywhere along 412 between Huntsville and Hinesville, you've got a really strong thunderstorm moving through your area. Right now, at its peak, it very well could be capable of producing some damaging straight line winds, 60 mile per hour, upwards of some 1 inch in diameter hail. If you're in Hinesville, things are going to get better for you real soon. Give it about 5 or 6 more minutes, and that storm is going to be passing out of your area. Reason you might notice that warning is flashing, as I just pointed out to you a few moments ago, it's out of Washington County. So they've trimmed Washington County. They've said, hey, if you're in Washington, you're good. This storm has passed off towards the east. Not to say you might not get another one tracking in from your west, but this one specifically is now just for Madison and Carroll counties. And we'll continue to trim counties and areas out of the warning and give you an all clear when the storm passes off to your east. That's what's happening right now close to Hinesville. Give it a few more minutes. Right now, it's intense in Huntsville. I know it is. Between 127, the Pig Trail, 412, you got some heavy rain and it's mixing in with a little bit of hail. There's a lot of lightning, there's a lot of thunder, and I get that. This is moving off towards the northeast. That's soon going to pass through Green Forest. It comes close to Eureka Springs. I don't know if this specific cell will actually make it into Eureka Springs, but maybe the northern portions of it would. That's the portion exiting War Eagle right now. So War Eagle going to be right in this general vicinity. That's not severe, but it is certainly going to be passing your direction. Between Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville, a non-severe thunderstorm that is strong, producing a lot of rain, a lot of lightning, maybe even some gusty wind, but it's not meeting those severe weather thresholds. And that's what you're dealing with right there. Let's go back into the River Valley. Let's get an idea of exactly what's happening here. All of this activity has really just started pulsing up really over the last 30 or so minutes. Let me loop this and you can kind of see how that just really blossomed over just the last little bit. It goes from pretty much nothing to all of a sudden we're developing showers and we're developing thunderstorms. None of this is severe, although you're going to want to watch for that potential for some flooding. It's not going to be immediate right now, given we've not seen a lot of rain thus far in this part of the area, but those showers and thunderstorms now extending through Mountainburg and Alma, getting close to Van Buren. Uniontown's dry at the moment, but look what's coming back off to the west through parts of Sequoia County, soon to move back into Adair. That comes close to you. Chester and north of Mountainburg there, you've got some moderate to heavy rainfall passing through the area. All of this continues, likely not going to become severe in the next few moments. Let's watch it to see if it doesn't translate into something that inevitably could become severe at some point. Right now, a good old soaking rain, and there's a lot more of that to come. You can see back off towards the west, this thunderstorm is starting to take shape. It'll move into Adair County. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder moving through portions of Sequoia County right now. It's not severe, but it is producing a decent amount of rainfall. There's no question about that. Here's where we are area-wide. Sorry, been talking a whole lot. These showers moving towards the northeast, and this is going to continue. There's going to be more and more iterations and more rounds of this over the next several hours. Of most concern that we've seen this morning rather, we had what was maybe an apparent tornado. If we have Joshua's video re-racked, I'm happy to walk through some of that. Damage reports that we're getting is that for the most part, the damage wasn't super intense, but some damage nonetheless. Video's coming up. Our producers are working to get that in for us. Right here, you notice these power poles kind of pushed over. This is along 412. Get that. How crazy is it that the power crews were already out there in minutes? They're literally the best. Ozarks Electric just doing a great job for us out there this evening. You notice those power poles, I mean, they're pushed over. What we haven't seen a lot of reports of are significant structure damage. There have been some trees and there have been certainly some minor structural issues, but we've not seen significant structure damage. We'll see what daylight brings. I don't want to get my hopes up necessarily just yet, but maybe, just maybe, this was a weaker, a lower end tornado. Question is, what are the chances of the storm heading towards Rogers becoming severe thunderstorm or tornadic? If we want to go back to live radar, thank you for putting Joshua's video up there. Right now, the chances are relatively low. I think your issue right now in Rogers is going to be a flash flooding potential. That's why the warning is issued. There is, of course, a cell coming up out of Adair County and portions of Sequoia that'll come back into the area. Okay, let's go ahead and let's check in with our 5 News Storm Chaser, bringing us some pictures right here along 412. So you can see that rain just continuing to come down out there. What I'll be wanting to see there on the right side of the screen, so let's see a few things blown over, not too concerning. Those power lines are in fine shape. We'll see what we get. Okay, so they're going to turn around, I'm hearing, and they're going to go back towards the damage. So we'll keep that up in the screen and see exactly what they have found there. We've had a lot of crews out there here this morning. Our storm chaser is equipped with a night vision camera. Of course, you would understand why we wanted to spend a few extra bucks and get a night vision camera. Most of our storms actually happen at night. So this should give us a pretty decent view of what's happening. Is this the inside camera? Okay, actually, can we go full screen there? I know I'm throwing you for a loop. Perfect. So it looks like those power poles kind of pushed over there. Some of the signs pushed over. It doesn't take a lot of wind to really do that, so not super concerning. I don't know if that's Folks, I apologize for that. My batteries died. We've been at this a little bit and haven't had a chance to change them. So I apologize for that break there. Yeah, you can. I'm not sure if this was new construction. When Joshua gets back, maybe he can shed some light on that, of what's happening just towards the left there. I'm wondering. Okay, this is journalist Jacob Luthi, photojournalist. Joel out there as well in the 5 News Storm Chaser. Can they hear my voice right now? Okay. Mic issues. Okay, no worries. That's a good view. This is going to be along Sunset Avenue and 412. I'll tell you, what I've seen more of than anything else is a lot of these power pole issues. We'll see what sunlight brings. There's often a very definitive fog of war, is what I call it, when these storms happen, in which the information that comes out first is often always bad or incomplete or leaves a lot to be desired. So we'll see what sunlight brings. Okay, I think we're good right now. I don't think we need to right now. Thank you so much for that. Okay, let's take a look here. Getting a question, which way are the winds coming into from Rogers? Well, you've got some surface winds that are going to be out of the south. As these storms come through, they'll probably push out of the west. You can see it's scattered in nature. We go back to our 1 severe thunderstorm warning here in Madison County. That's getting really close to pushing into Carroll County, right? So it's moving quickly. It's moving at about 60 miles per hour, which is a pretty quick clip for these storms. And that's some good news for us. Yeah, ChromaFull would be good. Thank you so much. One of the things I need to let you know about, in case you're just now tuning in, I can't read the Facebook comments. I know it's the silliest thing, but I can't see them. But you can text me directly on my cell phone, which is even better. 479-785-5000 if you've got questions, if you've got reports, if you've got pictures, video, anything going on, that could very well be very helpful to us. If you see me looking down at my cell phone on the stream, I'm not distracted by TikTok or Instagram, I promise. Although I do post a lot of cute pictures of my dogs, shameless plug. I'm looking at your reports. I'm trying to answer your questions. Those come straight to my cell phone, 479-785-5000. If you've got a report or pictures, it's really helpful to include your location, and I want to give you credit, so include your name as well. If you want to remain anonymous, totally respect it. Just indicate that as such. Alabama, Berryville, Green Forest, Huntsville, you're included in this warning. It's running until 3:45, so we've got about 34 more minutes to go. Current time is coming up on 3:12 this morning. The severe thunderstorm warning in effect for 1 inch in diameter hail. That's about the size of a quarter, okay? 60-mile-per-hour winds. And not to say all the winds coming out of it are necessarily going to be 60 mile per hour, but at the maximum, at the peak, that's certainly going to be possible for what that is. See a picture, really interesting picture. Never seen anything like that. I agree. To be honest, I'd have to research on what that is. I don't immediately know. I'd have to go back and kind of compare it to radar. So if you don't mind, respond to that text message and tell me what time you took that photo, and I'll see if I can't get you some answers. A live look at Doppler radar. That's really interesting. That's probably coming out of the Springfield site. So let me back down there. There is a little bit of rotation. I'll tell you, it's weak, but there's some mid-level rotation now to the east of Huntsville, this general vicinity. It's getting ready to cross over into Carroll County. Here's Osage right here. Green Forest is going to be up here. Rotation right there. It's really broad, and the fact that we're looking kind of high up in the air tells me it's some weaker rotation. Getting a report of a lot of pea-sized hail near Madison 7025. We'll go back to our hail tracker, and we're probably going to see exactly just that. This little gray splotch right here in the warning is where Doppler radar is indicating that we could have a little bit of hail. Our reports coming from that area indicate pea-sized hail, which is not severe. That's the good news. And you know what that tells me? It tells me this storm's weakening. And we've kind of seen that trend over the last little bit. It's not weakened below severe limits, though. So we'll have to stay on top of it for a little bit longer. A warning is going to go for about the next 30 or so minutes. It includes a good chunk of Carroll. And now at this point, northwestern Madison County. Most of Huntsville and all of Hinesville have been dropped from this warning. You can see the new polygon there. We'll zoom in a little bit tighter, and you can get a few more communities. Kavanaugh, Purdy also included in this warning. I called out Osage there. I'd say the east side of Huntsville technically still included. I shouldn't say all of Huntsville, but the east side of Huntsville still included. Hinesville no longer included. This red maroon polygon, that's going to be for a flash flood warning, and that includes a good chunk of Benton County as well as northwestern Washington County. When it comes to the other cells passing through the area, that's really the only one that we've got right now. There are other cells that are heavy and that are strong, but none of the other ones are necessarily severe. We'll watch this fella right here, getting ready to move into 8 air, kind of moving into 8 air right now, moving through central Sequoia. It's strong, but it's not necessarily severe. You saw this new polygon pop up. This is not our weather coverage area. The television stations in Springfield as well as Little Rock covers this area, but you do see that warning being extended downstream as they expect that storm to continue quickly moving out of Carroll into that part of the area. So just a heads up as to why we're not going to be focusing on that, even though you see that warning popping up on your screen. I want to look at this Sequoia County cell. It looks somewhat healthy to me. Right now, moving through Salissaw. We'll look at the velocities. There's hardly any to speak of. That's some good news. Is there any hail at all? Hi, Joshua. What's up?
I'm good to go.
You're mic'd and good to go. Excellent. Joshua's been in the field. He's now in the studio. He's a jack of all trades, and we're very thankful to have him. He's been a great player for us over the last several months. What we'll do, if you're ready to go, I have not had a drink of water in a long time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to walk through the 5 News Storm Chaser right now. Let's pull them up. If we can put them behind me, that would be great. And at some point, once we're done talking to the Storm Chaser, we'll tag team Joshua into this. But if we can put them here behind me. Jacob Luthi, can you hear me?
Yeah, Scott, sorry. It rain's really loud right now. It's been falling down for a long time, but right now we are on Highway 412, right on Sunset Boulevard. We are right next to the Crane Buick GMC. That's what we're looking at right now. That's where this camera is looking at. As you can see, kind of this is where most of the damage that we've seen so far has happened. There is a line of power lines, a lot of power out on this street right ahead of us, but this line of power lines is down. This is pretty much the damage that we've been seeing try to give a closer view. It's not as good. It's a little brighter, but this is kind of the damage that we're seeing right now. But just constant heavy rain, constant lightning right here in Springdale. We've been driving around looking for more damage, hopefully to see if we can find more spots. But this is where it's been so far, and we've seen crews out working. We saw Ozark Electric out here, but we've definitely seen crews out here on the ground already.
Yeah, in fact, when we got some of those very first pictures of power pole damage, it was like Ozarks Electric was just on top of it. Incredible, folks. Okay, Jacob, thank you so much. Be safe out there. You do have some storms tracking your direction back from the west. We'll keep you posted there. Of course, a lot of lightning there from the 5 News Storm Chaser. Going to tag in meteorologist Joshua Weisel. He's going to track some of these storms for you right now. He's been in the field. He's seen the damage, and now he's doing the other side of it as these additional storms move through the area. I'll be right back with you after I get a swig of water.
Yeah, that sounds good. We're going to be looking at these storms moving through. So already a busy morning. Just got back from the field. We were talking about that damage that we were looking at here. And fortunately, when I was out there, didn't really look like there was any sort of significant structural damage, which is, of course, something that we're all grateful for. Anytime you get a tornado, it's always kind of, it's unsettling when you see a tornado warning going through any part of town. So when we were driving through, we drove through the neighborhood near Sunset Avenue and some of those locations. Fortunately, we didn't see any sort of major significant structural damage, tree damage, and of course those power lines. And then further, when we got to the south towards the ballpark, we noticed that there was a couple of areas near the construction site. Porta potties were scattered. That was not pleasant, of course. That's probably not going to be fun to clean up. And then we also had a couple trees that were snapped closer to the ballpark, just to the north of where that ballpark was for the Naturals. So good news there. We don't have any sort of significant structural damage. What we are going to be looking at here is, of course, we have the severe thunderstorm warning that continues as we head into Madison County. And right now, fortunately, we don't have any sort of tornado warning. So if you're just now tuning in with us, we were showing that tornado damage. We were talking about some tornado damage. No tornado warnings in effect right now, but we are watching some severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. And the good news is there's no tornado possible tags or anything like that with these at the moment. Currently just 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail is going to be the main thing to watch with that. So we're going to be seeing if there's any sort of new information off to the side. The other thing that we want to bring up too is there is going to be a flash flooding concern with some of these storms. As you can see, there is a flash flood warning for portions of Benton County, I believe. And let's go to this real quick. I want to see. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's headed into the area, and then we'll bounce back to that warning. So as you can see in portions of our northeast Oklahoma counties, anywhere between Sallisaw, Cherry Tree, and Westville, there's this next area of showers and storms that are going to be making their way into the area. And I tell you what, when we were out there, lightning was, pretty prolific out there. So lots of lightning with this activity. So, of course, definitely be careful if you're going outside to see if you can see any of this activity. Lots of lightning is occurring with this. And we'll take a look at let's see if we can get the lightning strikes with the activity coming in here, and we'll see over the last, I believe that's 10 minutes or so. 58, that's not too bad. That's also not significant, but that is definitely producing some lightning with that. Let's take a look at those winds, and we're going to go all across the board here just so we can kind of show you what to expect. Wouldn't surprise me if we see some gusty winds making its way into Westville, Stillwell, and I believe that's Greasy. And of course, no severe thunderstorm warning with this, but just keep in mind some 50-mile-per-hour winds could be possible with that little pocket over the next little bit if that continues to strengthen. Let's go back to regular radar here real quick, and we'll show you what's going on here with Madison and Carroll County. And Green Forest, Osage, you can see you are in the path of this storm. In addition to the heavy rainfall, it's also producing potentially 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail with it. So, fortunately, right now, in terms of severity, this is more on the bare minimum side. So, in order for a storm to be considered severe, you need hail up to 1 inch in diameter, and you need winds at or exceeding 58 miles an hour. Right now we're at 60 miles an hour in quarter-size hail, so this is basically just a bare minimum severe thunderstorm warning, which is some good news there. I know some may be wondering about this little notch that you see here. Of course, we're watching the radar very carefully, but no tornado risk with this for the time being. So just to ease those fears, just because we know we've been talking about the tornado that went through portions of Washington County earlier, or the tornado warning, excuse me. No confirmed tornadoes at this point. We have damage that could be either a tornado or damaging winds, but for the time being, no confirmation on a tornado so far. But we know we've been talking about tornadoes, tornado warned storms, just to ease your fear. No tornado warnings at this time. But of course, we're keeping an eye on the radar. Let's take a look here real quick at that velocity scan just to show you. And there is a little bit of rotation with it. It's not significant at this time. We mentioned there was that little notch there, but where you see those greens and those reds coming together, that's something we'll need to watch. There's two things that could indicate. One, it could indicate, of course, that there's some mid-level rotation. At this portion of town, we're looking higher up, so we're not looking closer to the surface. It's something we'll need to watch, but this could also indicate that maybe this one's trying to produce some larger hail with it. So we'll need to watch that because, rotation doesn't just indicate tornado risk. Sometimes if you get a rotating updraft, it means that that is getting stronger, more supportive of hail. So that's something that we'll need to watch there. But of course, keeping a close eye on it. There's the next scan and still a little bit of rotation there to the northwest of Osage. So again, no immediate tornado warning, no immediate tornado risk with this. It's just something we'll need to watch given, of course, the environment that we're dealing with here. So I actually want to check the hail tracker, see what that's saying. Right now, it's fortunately on the lower end of the scale. We're talking small hail with that. So we'll have to see on the next scan if that starts to come up any and see if there's any sort of uptick in that hail too. So let's go back to sweeping radar and let's do a broad overview here real quick because that one is about to leave our county warning area here shortly. Just across the board, if you're waking up this morning with us and you're hearing all the lightning and thunder activity, loud rain, loud maybe even winds at times, there is a couple of storms that are on the severe side, mostly in Madison and Carroll County. That is the only warned storm that we have right now. Also around the region, we have loud storms that are producing heavy rainfall, damaging winds, with the strongest portions with this warned area, but there could be some gusty winds, 35, maybe up to 45 miles an hour with some of these other stronger cells, especially some of the activity starting to move into our coverage area, but these are not severe right now for the time being. And it looks like we just got an update. So Madison County is no longer included in that severe thunderstorm warning any further. It's just clipping portions of Carroll County. So again, that's what we're looking at here. Broadly speaking, nothing severe in portions of Washington County, no longer anything in Madison County. Portions of the River Valley are getting some heavier pockets of rainfall, some lightning, some gusty winds up to 30 miles an hour at times. But so far, none of these are significant enough to highlight. Just heavy rainfall, loud thunder. So if you're waking up and you're hearing it be all loud and you're wondering what's going on, nothing is severe elsewhere except for this one little cell that we have here in portions of Madison County starting to leave our county warned area, or our county coverage area. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that cell in particular, but we're also watching the additional activity pushing closer to our coverage area. So let's go up and take a look at that here real quick and stick with this. And this one's going to be moving into communities like Carrollton, Osage. Green Forest is getting a lot of heavy rainfall right now, most likely with that lightning activity. And of course, we're keeping a close eye on this cell over the next little bit. It's our only warned storm. So if you're tuning in this morning and you're wondering what's going on, this is the only warning we have, at least for the time being. So we're going to be tracking this one carefully. Still maybe a little bit of a mid-level spin with it, and that would be to the west of Osage. We're not talking immediate tornado risk or anything like that, but this is, of course, something that we're going to be watching. But it wouldn't surprise me if there's maybe even a stronger pocket of winds moving into Osage that would be close to that 60 mile per hour range as well. So again, no immediate tornado risk and no tornado warning with this. But it's just something that we're keeping a close eye on, just because, of course, we have that little notch feature that we're seeing on the radar there. But so far, the other thing that we have to consider too is this is higher up into the atmosphere. So when we're seeing these signatures, they're most likely at the mid-level with where we're looking at with radar, or upper levels. It doesn't fully mean it's translating to the surface. And looks like we got a new update there. Let's see here. See what they updated that for. 60 mile per hour winds and quarter size hail. So still, fortunately, this is on the lower end of the scale in terms of severe weather warnings. As I mentioned earlier, in order for a storm to be considered severe, you need 60 mile per hour winds, or 58 or greater mile per hour winds, and quarter sized hail. Right now, the good news is we're not talking large significant hail with this. We're not talking 70, 80 mile per hour winds with this. We're talking quarter sized hail and 60 mile per hour winds. So this is basically the bare minimum severe thunderstorm warning that continues for portions of Carroll County. Elsewhere around the region, you can see there is still some heavy rainfall that we are watching across northwest Arkansas, parts of the River Valley. But so far, we're not seeing any sort of severe weather activity with this. Keeping an eye on this activity starting to push into portions of northwest Arkansas from eastern Oklahoma. But again, right now, for the time being, doesn't look like that is severe at all. It doesn't really look like we're getting any sort of special weather statement either that would indicate any below severe limit winds closer to that 50 mile per hour range or anything like that, which is also some good news there. Let's take a look at those winds. Maybe some stronger winds near Lincoln. We're talking probably about 35, 45 miles per hour at times. So don't be surprised if you wake up in Lincoln, West Fork, near Stillwell. It's not severe, but this is just going to be one of those things where you may be waking up, you hear thunder, you hear some gusty winds, heavy rainfall, and you might be wondering, is this something I need to be concerned about? The good news is, for the time being, there is nothing severe with this particular storm at all. No special weather statements with it either, which is it's a step below severe thunderstorm warning when it's indicating this could be a problem for some communities in terms of mildly strong winds and some small hail, but it's not a severe thunderstorm warning. Not seeing anything like that with this particular cell. So that's some good news there. Let's see. Let's go to the rain rates here too, because I also want to highlight and show. Okay, let's zoom in on this. The other thing that we're looking at too is the amount of rainfall that will be falling with this could be on the higher side. So this may be translating about to, let's say, an inch an hour. That doesn't mean that you're going to see an inch of rainfall with it, but there is some heavy rainfall associated with some of these cells that you need to be aware of as well. So if you're out and about driving this evening, or any activities that you need to get to work or anything like that early this morning, keep in mind there could be some localized ponding on the roadways, maybe even some low-lying areas that experience some brief flooding. So just keep that in mind due to heavy rainfall. That may be something to be mindful of. Let's zoom out real quick, and we'll do a broad view here real quick and just show you that right now the only severe storm we have is, again, this one in Carroll County. That, in just a matter of moments, is going to be pushing out of our area. So we'll let that move outside of our county coverage area, and then we'll be done with that. But right now, no warnings elsewhere around the region except for a flash flood warning. If you're looking at that, that's not a tornado warning or anything like that. That is a flash flood warning. And I tell you, when I was driving up in Lowell just a little bit ago, probably about 30 minutes ago, we experienced some ponding on some roadways. And so that doesn't surprise me that there is a flood warning there, just because there was a lot of heavy rainfall associated with those storms as they were moving through. Yeah, and let's go ahead and do that here real quick, and we'll put the damage here. So this was earlier when I came up on the scene of the damage. We were literally pulling up right before and just as crews were making it to the scene to clean up those power lines. So, of course, thank you to those workers for getting out there so quickly. Hopefully they can get power restored to some of those communities where we had that damage earlier. But you can see power pole, this one was probably about, I'd say about 8 to 10 feet off the ground. It was snapped kind of in the middle. And this one in particular was kind of tangled in with some of those bulldozers or earth moving equipments down at the, I believe it was Springdale tractor. So we had damage in that area, but it was kind of a sigh of relief when we were driving through there, and that was the only thing that we could find. We drove through the neighborhood behind it. Forgive me, I don't really remember what that community was, but we drove behind there, and fortunately we didn't see any sort of damage to homes, so there was no roof damage that we could see. There was a couple of trees that had snapped limbs, not very big, but of course when we're talking about this, this is, of course, eye-catching when we came across it. The other thing, too, is since there were so many power outages at the time, there was about 4,000 power outages. You can definitely see it if you're driving on I-49, where you can notice that when you're driving, there is a large pocket of lights that are around the shopping centers, of course, the Andy's Frozen Custard, the gas station, and to the west of that, it was completely dark because there was no power. So again, this was earlier. This is a recap. This was between Tawnytown, or this was near Tawnytown and Springdale, West Sunset Avenue, and this was at Springdale Tractor. So this was damage from a possible tornado, but no confirmation of a tornado just yet. Of course, the National Weather Service is going to have to assess the damage and figure out if this was damaging winds or a tornado. So again, this was earlier. So this was in the community of Springdale, West Sunset Avenue at Springdale Tractor. Yeah, so we can go back to radar here real quick. And as you can see, not a whole lot going on in terms of warnings, thankfully. We have one severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Carroll County, and we have a flash flood warning for portions of Adair, Delaware, and Benton counties here this morning. So definitely an active morning. Didn't think that we'd be here basically all night tracking these things. Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert has been tracking these all evening, and then headed out. I handed out to the damage area just a little bit ago. Unfortunately, potential tornado damage, but the good news is there was no major damage from what we could see. So that's a good sign that hopefully that remains the truth. So. That there's no other reports that come out of these storms. So you're taking a look at the radar, wide view. We have additional showers and thunderstorms moving into portions of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. No severe thunderstorm warnings with this, but there is a large area of heavy rainfall, some lightning, and maybe some gusty winds, but we're talking 30 to 40 miles an hour. We're not talking, 60, 70, 80 with that, at least for the time being. Maybe these become severe, maybe they don't. It's just something we'll have to watch, but that would most likely just be a damaging wind potential if it were to strengthen. Elsewhere, just heavy rainfall in portions of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, some lightning. So it's definitely a loud start to the morning. Thank you for tuning in here with us. If you're watching, we're not talking about any sort of tornado warnings now. I know if you've been kind of going back and forth, you may have been hearing us mention potential tornado damage and the previous warnings earlier. Nothing like that going on right now. The only thing that we have in terms of warnings is, again, the severe thunderstorm warning in portions of Carroll County. And then, of course, Adair, Delaware, and Benton counties are included in this flash flood warning. So be mindful of that, especially since it's early morning. It's dark outside. If you're on a smaller road with poor drainage in Benton County, this may be an issue. You may come across some ponding on roadways, so just keep that in mind if you're headed out this morning. When we were driving through Lowell earlier, we were going on some two-lane roads to kind of get back and forth between Springdale, Lowell, and communities in between. And there was some ponding on roadways that we encountered this morning as well. So just keep that in mind. Some low-lying areas, some areas with poor drainage may have some localized flooding this morning. Fortunately, nothing too major to go on about. We'll go back up to that storm here in Carroll County here. And again, there was a little bit of rotation with it earlier, but it was not indicative of an immediate tornado risk with it. It's still there, but it's fairly broad, so we're not talking immediate tornado risk. We've been mentioning that. It looks nasty. It looks scary on radar because you can see that little notch there, but there is no immediate tornado risk with this right now, so that's some good news. Sometimes these storms can look scary. They'll kind of cry wolf. They'll look like they have that look to them, and then they don't end up doing anything tornadic, which that is thankfully what this one's doing. 60-mile-per-hour winds, some quarter-sized hail. That's going to be the main concern with this particular storm, and we'll see what they updated that warning to. And still quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So, again, very low end of the scale. Let's see. I was going to say, if we want to go to Jacob, if he's got a different... I saw a clip I saw it out of the corner of my eye. It looked like they were maybe getting a different angle on that. If he wants to... Okay, if we want to go to him, if he wants to give us a report on anything that he's seen out there in the field, before we get to him, we'll just remind the viewers, this is not from these storms that we're tracking right now. This was from earlier, about an hour or two ago, that was in portions of Washington County near Arvis Ballpark in the Springdale community, Tawnytown area. So let's go to Jacob real quick and just get a live report from him, and whenever he's ready, and we can kind of see what he's seen out there in terms of damage. I know he was out there near the Springdale tractor earlier, and let's see. And you can see it is coming down pretty good out there. So heavy rainfall. Of course, lots of lightning. Mentioned that we had some intense lightning out there earlier. So this is a great shot. Jacob, tell us if you've seen any sort of additional damage. I can see that it looks like you've been driving around that area. Of course, there's a power line damage that was down on Sunset Ave, but have you guys encountered any sort of additional damage out in that vicinity?
Yeah, Josh, do you have me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we're still right here on Sunset Ave. We're kind of just been going back and forth on this street. Power's still out for the majority of the side where that Crane Buick is, where that damage that you saw earlier and that we've been seeing all day. But you mentioned it as well. The rain is coming down really hard right now, and it's just been constant this entire time, similar to what you've been reporting. Constant rain, lots of lightning flashes. The lightning has calmed down a little bit right now, but definitely the rain is still pouring. We've seen crews kind of stationing to our left here, right here where the power lines are. We've seen one car pull up, two cars, so it just seems like they're starting to station over here, trying to get, probably just maybe waiting for daylight just to start, working on these power lines. We've been just driving back and forth, trying to make sure to stay safe from these power lines. Just, of course, we see some people walking right now, but it's definitely just kind of been, right now there's power lines to our left on these kind of tractors. I'm not sure if you saw that bright lightning flash right there, but really it's just really difficult driving conditions for anybody on the road right now. And it's just, like you said, these power lines are the damage we've seen, but we've been, looking to our right, to our left. It's still dark. It's still hard to see. I'm sure as the sun starts to pick up, we're going to start to see really if there's any more damage from these winds. But that's what we're seeing right now. Just trying to keep our eye out for anything else. But definitely a lot of power outages over here to our left, especially this gas station is out of power as well.
Yeah, and to y'all's right, there's that Walmart or Sam's Club, gas station. One thing that I noticed when I drove through there earlier was all the little stations with the little squeegee and then the napkins or paper towels. Those are scattered all throughout the parking lot. So there's of course lots of wind damage down there. One thing y'all may check out, if you go down the road past the Arvis Ballpark and the Children's Hospital, we encountered a snapped tree. It was snapped closer to probably about a foot off the ground, and there was some damage. It was not significant, but we're talking there was just construction items that were scattered, and there was a little area of porta potties that was kind of blown in different directions there too. So definitely stay safe out there. We are talking about heavy rainfall moving in. So as Jacob mentioned, and thank you for that live report, of course, it's pretty treacherous out there driving, as you can see with the 5 News Storm Chaser. There's water on the roadways, there's frequent lightning, and then you can see, even with full blast windshield wipers, just lots and lots of rainfall coming down there with that. So stay safe out there, guys, and thanks for getting that shot up. We'll keep on that shot here for just a little bit, just as they get on I-49, just to or wherever it is that they're going. See that they're turning around here. Yeah, so we'll stick with that here for just a second, just to show you. So if you're getting up this morning, if you have early work like we do here, and you're headed out this morning, take a look at what's going on with that chaser. You can see just heavy rainfall this morning. So in addition to that severe weather risk that we've been talking about, this rainfall is going to create some travel issues this morning. So just take it slow, take it easy out there, and just make sure that you're not speeding, because one thing I want to mention is, of course, people who are going to be driving too fast, they may hydroplane. The other thing I want to talk about is, I know there's always the temptation to go out and see damage when it happens. While it's not terrible, there is a danger with the power lines. So as crews are working, there's a lot of metal equipment out there and a lot of water. So don't try and go out and see this. Don't try and get out and walk near it. Where those power lines are, they may or may not be turned off. I know there's a lot of crews out there. They're professionals. Let them handle that. But I know that there's a lot of temptation that if you see snapped power lines, you want to get near it and get a photo. It's best not to get near there, just because you don't want to get shocked from any sort of downed lines. And we have water, and we have metal tractors and earth movers and stuff that are in that parking lot that could add a risk to that. So that'll be a difficult cleanup this morning for those crews. So as you can see, getting closer to that damage, still many are without power this morning. So we'll go back to the radar full. And thanks again, Jacob, for that live report, that shot, doing a fantastic job out there this morning. Still watching radar. Of course, we've got this one in Madison County. It's pushing out. We're not neglecting that. We're not forgetting about you. We're just going to do kind of a broad span. This one's leaving the area, so it's going to be starting to wind down here in Madison County here shortly. And let's see here. Scott, do you have an update?
Sorry about that. That severe thunderstorm warning, it just was allowed to expire 3:45. So
Awesome.
At this juncture, we have no active severe warnings in the 5 News viewing area. As Joshua was just tracking, there continue to be some strong thunderstorms. We're going to have some flooding issues, and we may have additional warnings. If that is the case, we're going to fire back up a stream. And of course, you're on your 5 News this morning. Coming up at 5 o'clock, we're going to have the very latest from some of those areas that have some apparent tornado damage. The storm chaser is going to stay out, and we'll be able to bring you those images on your 5 News this morning. I think at this point, we are okay to end the stream. But I know there's still a lot of folks out there that you're hearing the thunder and the lightning and the heavy rain. You might have a little bit of anxiety. Here's the thing, nothing severe at the moment. If something does become severe and a warning is issued, we'll be right back here. But I think we're going to be in a good spot for right now. This is the first of what are probably going to be several rounds of rain and some storms between now and Sunday night. Joshua's going to have the latest forecast for you. I do need to be transparent and tell you our Easter Sunday severe weather potential has increased. The tornado risk for Sunday has gone up. Joshua's going to have the latest for you there on that, coming up on your 5 News at 5. In the meantime, I think we're going to be in an okay position to go ahead and end this stream for now. But if something happens, we'll be right back. So for all of us here at 5 News, and boy, there's a lot of folks up early this morning drinking some coffee, we'll see you right here on your 5 News this morning, beginning at 5 a.m.